been describing. She radiated an intense, crimson aura, her eyes glowing with power. The information panel revealed her to be an S-rank master, consumed by rage, a level 101 soul. Dulan, stunned, exclaimed, "That's the ruler of the ancient sprite kingdom. The strongest boss here. A soul." Hao Ran blurted out, bewildered. Dulan echoed his confusion. "Why a soul?" Xiao Yuan, a hint of fear in their voice, speculated, "Could she be dead?" Hao Ran firmly dismissed the idea. The Demon King wouldn't send us on a wild goose chase. Impossible. Lu Jiao, their leader, agreed. Yes, absolutely impossible. There are no external wounds. Sprites are immortal. Lu Jiao, scrutinizing the master, began to analyze the situation. "We broke through the Guardian's illusion. There are no signs of a struggle within the throne room. It wasn't murder." Hao Ran, a sarcastic glint in his eye, quipped, "If it wasn't murder, then it was suicide?" Dulan, stroking his chin, pondered, "Suicide, huh? Bold guess." Suddenly, his eyes widened, and he shouted, "Look, over there. That's her body." Not far away, on the ground, lay a skeletal figure clad in a familiar red dress. Dulan's eyes went wide. "I understand," he declared, his voice ringing with newfound certainty. She guarded the ruins alone for thousands of years. The endless passage of time, the crushing loneliness, it eroded her, fractured her very being. Her soul split, birthing a malevolent entity, while her body and benevolent spirit fell into a deep slumber. Pointing upwards, he confidently asserted, "The key to clearing this instance is to defeat the malevolent entity and awaken her." The other four stared skyward, contemplating his words. The sprite in the jar, listening to Dulan's pronouncements, was utterly dumbfounded. Its jaw hung open in disbelief. Not a single word of that is right, it thought. And that's not a body, it's a corpse. Noticing the sprite's reaction, Dulan shot a sharp look. "What do you think of my deduction?" The sprite, instantly changing its tune, gushed, "Flawless reasoning. Truly brilliant." Dulan's brow furrowed as he realized another problem. These sprite warriors are different from the A-rank monsters outside. Even I'm not confident in defeating an S-rank powerhouse. He turned to Hao Ran, a clear attempt to shift the burden of responsibility. "What do we do?" Hao Ran, seeing right through him, preemptively retorted, "I'm out of items." Dulan sighed dramatically, producing a small item from thin air. "Looks like I have to resort to this. My most powerful item, and I couldn't even use it against the Demon King." At that moment, the master's eyes flashed. With a furious roar, she shrieked, "Intruders! Soothe my rage with your blood." The master sprite, her words finished, erupted into a frenzy, radiating a powerful energy, as if she intended to obliterate everything. Yet at that very moment, something flew directly into her head, cutting short her menacing aura. Disoriented, she let out a bewildered gasp. Looking closer, she saw Jordan's small gadget hovering before her, a tiny, cute ghost flitting above it. The master sprite stared blankly for a moment, then asked, "What is that thing?" Her eyes fixed on Jordan's gadget, confusion evident in her voice. Then, she began to analyze the situation on her own. "If it's placed on the ground," she mused, "it must be meant to be stepped on." Suddenly, the gadget emitted a powerful surge of energy. Even Hao Ran was taken aback, asking in bewilderment, What is that?" Dulan, for the first time, calmly explained, "This is something I've been preparing to use against the Demon King. One of my family's heirloom treasures. An S-rank gadget, the Plague Trap. It borrows the power of the four original archdemons to unleash a plague, inflicting massive true damage and control effects. The drawback is that it causes excruciating pain to those afflicted, making life worse than death and offering no chance of resistance." Hao Ran, listening, felt a shiver run down his spine. With a mixture of disgust and indignation, he asked, "Why does your family heirloom consist of such terrifying things?" Dulan flashed a dazzling, handsome smile. "My family has hunted demons for generations," he replied, "acquiring valuable gadgets from defeated demons. Isn't that perfectly reasonable?" The tiny sprite, still glued in place, responded stiffly to this explanation. "Acquiring them and using them are two different things. Are you even on the side of good?" Hao Ran felt a sudden chill, thinking to himself, why does this feel so similar to the tea at the Demon King's place? He glanced sideways, the image of the jade green tea from the other day flashing through his mind. Meanwhile, the master sprite was about to be engulfed by the flowing green liquid of the plague trap. The faint green light reflected on her face. A moment later, she was caught in the trap, feeling her strength drain away, unable to resist the agonizing pain. Seeing the situation under control, Dulan landed gracefully, exclaiming, "She's contained." Then, with lightning speed, he dashed towards the master sprite. He rapidly activated a series of skill upgrades. Poison resistance enhancement, attack power enhancement level 13, all stats enhancement level 10, advanced luck enhancement level 14. With a legendary, earth-shattering leap, Dulan executed a series of dazzling aerial maneuvers before landing and charging forward. Nearing the master sprite, he drew his sword back, poised to strike, and let out a powerful battle cry. Trapped within the plague trap, the master sprite turned to see him appear before her. Startled, she cried out in alarm. Without hesitation, Jordan lunged forward, driving his sword straight through her abdomen. Face to face, the master sprite stared at him in astonishment. A high-ranking NPC, she gasped. Jordan, a satisfied smirk playing on his lips, continued his relentless sword dance. Seeing his expression, the master sprite recoiled slightly, retracting her previous statement. No, that's wrong." Looking at Jordan's cunning smile and the murderous glint in his eyes, the master sprite corrected herself. It should be a true demon. Dulan, twirling and flashing before her, continued to rain blows upon her. The tiny sprite, trapped in its jar, watched its master being tormented, tears welling in its eyes. Its small fists clenched against the glass. That villain's laugh? It's just too much. He's an NPC, yet he brings a bunch of alt accounts to bully others, and he's using such underhanded tactics. Hao Ran was also surprised by Jordan's swordsmanship. He hadn't expected him to be so powerful at full strength. He truly is humanity's hope. It seems I underestimated him before. Hearing those last 5 words, the little sprite spun around in shock. What? Humanity's humanity's hope. Hao Ran turned, a serious expression on his face. You see, he began, and the tiny sprite listened intently. Not long ago, a voice showed us a prophecy. After the two worlds merged, it foretold the arrival of a hero who could lead the players, destroy the demonic race, and defeat the Demon King. This hero is called Humanity's Hope. The sprite hung its head, its voice filled with disappointment. And in its hymn, that's more like despair. Meanwhile, the master sprite, though still ensnared by the plague trap, remained defiant. Gritting her teeth, she hissed, "Don't underestimate my millennial-old will." She strained, unleashing her power. Dulon remained unfazed. He simply observed, "The plague trap's duration is reaching its limit, I see." Looking at the survival percentage above the master sprite's head, now at a mere 3%, Dulon felt a pang of regret. "A pity," he murmured to himself. "The damage is a little short." The master sprite, now filled with rage, snarled, "How dare a human like you?" She lunged, attacking furiously. "Steal the child we died to protect." Dulon lowered his stance, ready to counter. "Is that so?" he replied indifferently. Then, with a swift stroke of his sword, he struck, a flicker of pity in his eyes. A tragic end for the strongest sprite warrior. Perhaps she's forgotten. Jordan's sword sliced cleanly through the master sprite's neck, red syrup splattering everywhere. Jordan thought to himself, she was poisoned by mushrooms when she was alive. Silence descended once more. The master sprite's body lay still on the ground. Jordan turned his back, his expression impassive as he sheathed his sword. Hao Ran descended from above. "Well done," he praised. Dulan's face remained cold and indifferent. "Save the flattery. Go touch the body." The master sprite's split soul stared in disbelief. "You killed my master, and now you just want to touch her body? And you call yourself humanity's hope?" With those words, it vanished in despair. The jar containing the sprite's soul fell to the ground. Dulon frowned, puzzled. Strange. No reward. Even a little sprite is gone. He stroked his chin, deep in thought. This isn't what I expected. Could be my boss-killing technique was wrong. Hao Ran rolled his eyes. "You're just realizing your methods are questionable now. What do we do next?" Dulon looked at the withered corpse on the ground. I guess I'll just have to bring this back to the Demon King." Hao Ran's eyes widened in horror. The dried-up corpse. "Are you serious?" Suddenly, the entire room was bathed in a violet light. Red text appeared, causing everyone to panic. "What's happening? An earthquake?" Hao Ran turned to Dulon, questioning. "It couldn't be that your demonic words and mannerisms completely angered the spirits in these ruins, could it?" Dulon, who was carrying the desiccated corpse on his shoulder, quickly replied, No, it's not that. It's probably because I moved the body and disturbed the sprite's seal." Hao Ran sighed in exasperation. "When did you even pick that up?" He addressed the others. "Everyone, stop arguing. Look around at the falling debris. This is the sprite's highest level sealing technique, and what's more, it's unraveling." Suddenly, a hidden door opened, and light from outside spilled in. Hao Ran, seeing this, expressed his fear and worry. "What's being released?" A girl with striking platinum blonde hair peered out, hesitantly calling, "System Master." It was the sprite princess, Hai Ni, who had slumbered for 1,000 years. The Jiechu of the seal had awakened her. Her beautiful green eyes scanned her surroundings. "I can't sense System Master. Where did System Master go?" Seeing her beloved master sprite reduced to a withered husk, carried on the shoulder of a stranger she assumed to be a thief, the princess stood dumbfounded. The sheer shock of this unexpected sight caused the 1,000-year slumbering sprite princess to fall into a sleep once more, turning to stone and collapsing onto the ground. The others panicked. The sprite princess is cracking. Their faces were etched with astonishment, eyes wide and mouths agape. "We finally found a living sprite, and now she's cracking." Amidst the chaos, Dulon spoke seriously. "I think at this level, she's still usable. At least stronger than the one I'm carrying." His words left the group behind him speechless. "That's your takeaway?" Putting his words into action, Dulon turned to Hao Ran. "Actually, this is the takeaway. Hold the body for me. I'll get the glue." Hao Ran asked incredulously. "Glue?" Dulon didn't hesitate. "Yep, take her clothes off first." Their conversation caused the petrified sprite princess to tremble with suppressed frustration. Suddenly, the spot where the sprite princess lay exploded. A flash of light erupted, and a 7-colored rainbow streaked across the space where they stood. It shot out from the earth, creating a spectacle both beautiful and terrifying. The sprite princess was now reduced to ashes, her body charred black with flickering red embers. Hao Ran was aghast. Faced with this, what now? Dulon calmly and bluntly replied, "Not as good as the dried-up corpse." His answer infuriated Hao Ran. "Don't mention that corpse anymore." He covered his face with his hand in frustration. "We failed just when we were so close." Lu Jiao, with a dangerous expression, warned from behind. "A failed mission is worthy of meeting the Demon Lord. I'll kill you all before killing myself." Xiao Yuan, calm despite the recent events, addressed the others. "I'll search the ruins, see if anyone else is still alive." Tiny Sprite, seeing this, quickly followed. "Then I'll go too." Lu Jiao silently agreed. Xiao Yuan reminded, "Hand it over." As the three prepared to leave, Dulon, who had been intently observing the charred remains of the Sprite Princess, spoke up. "Wait, could this be the legendary Sprite treasure, the outer stone of wisdom?" Before them, nestled within the charred remains, where the princess's heart had been, lay a brilliant red gem. It was the very thing the Sprite Princess had wanted to entrust to them, the very thing her people had sealed away 1,000 years ago. An S+ rank artifact, the outer stone of wisdom. Dulon, for the first time, sat down closer to the stone. He examined it carefully while addressing the others. This S-rank gadget can influence the celestial equilibrium. For thousands of years, all the knowledge the sprites possess, as well as the methods to control their power, have been gathered within it. Hao Ran listened intently, then curiously asked, "Does that mean possessing it is equivalent to wielding the power of the sprites? A third type of power that rivals divine and demonic power?" Dulan's expression turned dangerous, his eyes filled with vengeance. "With this, we no longer need to fear the Demon King. I can finally wash away all the recent humiliations I've suffered." He reached out towards the gem. Hao Ran unexpectedly stopped him with a hand. "Wait." Dulon turned, questioning. A probing look directed at Hao Ran. "Mr. Qin," Hao Ran asked seriously, "do you mean we're not giving this to the Demon King?" Dulan's eyes narrowed slightly, a smirk playing on his lips. "Mr. Qin, aren't you getting a little too into character? We're only appeasing the Demon King to stabilize him. Now that we have this gadget, we have a chance to destroy him. Why would we hand it over?" Hao Ran fell silent, considering Dulan's intentions. Suddenly, he burst into laughter. "I see. I finally understand." A bewildered Dulon asked, "Understand what?" Hao Ran's eyes gleamed with sharp insight. right. I understand why the Demon King insisted I search for the sprites with you. Dulon tensed, unnerved by Hao Ran's serious tone. He cautiously inquired why. Hao Ran smirked, taking a sip from his glass of water. You guys have to try harder, you know? He then calmly explained, I initially thought he was just bored and wanted a sprite as a pet. I never expected him to be scheming, anticipating everything. He glanced at Dulon. I bet I'm right. He knew the outer stone of wisdom was here all along. Dulon was taken aback by this information. What? How could he have known? The sprite's power absolutely cannot fall into the hands of humans like you, which is why he sent my team to follow you. That's us, 6, 9, and Lu, Xiao Yuan, and me. Hao Ran's face beamed with pride. The Demon King entrusted such an important mission to us. He truly cares about us. He sighed internally. I'm so touched I could cry. Jordan looked at him with open disdain, then politely stated, I'm very sorry to break my promise, but I can't hand over a gadget of this level to you. I have to bring it back to Sky City. Without this, humanity won't have the confidence to fight against the Demon King. With that, he reached out and touched the glowing gem within the sprite princess's chest. Finally, we can avenge all the humiliation we've endured. But the moment Dulon picked up the stone and held in his hand to examine it, he realized it was just a gravity version of a hot core elemental organ. His face went blank, like someone who'd spent money on a BB blind bag, only to pull out something both ugly and useless. Before he could recover from shock, the other 4 had already made their escape. Lu Jio called out a warning from behind. And Lu, don't just stand there. Run while you can. Dulon calmly stood up and asked them, what did you just do? Hao Ran, holding the real gem, grinned triumphantly. Sorry, humanity's hope. Don't be mad. It was just a little bit of entertainment. His eyes mocked Dulon. Just a small trick, that's all. Qin Hao Ran had used the C-rank row-class skill, Street Smarts, sleight of hand, to swap the 2 objects. It usually didn't have much of an effect. Dulon, for the first time, responded with a quiet, almost gentle defiance. How unexpected. Did you really think you could defeat me? Hao Ran wasn't intimidated. He grinned, looking towards Lu Jio. Normally no, but if he's being stubborn. Lu Jio's expression hardened, her eyes sharp. She sighed, then with a cold swiftness, gathered her energy. A volley of projectiles erupted, but instead of deadly force, they were delicious-looking roasted chickens. Each one shimmered with an inner power, materializing behind her. Jordan's eyes widened in disbelief. He stammered, wah. Before he could fully process the bizarre sight, Lu Jio gave a command. Instantly, the roasted chickens launched themselves in the direction she indicated. Faced with a barrage of poultry, Jordan hastily summoned his energy, thrusting his hands outward. Divine Shield, S-rank, he cried. A spherical barrier of energy enveloped him. From within its shimmering protection, he yelled, not these damn roasted chickens again. I thought you were out. Hao Ran's voice drifted back, teasing, I was out, but I didn't say everyone only had one set of 20. Jordan's figure emerged from the dissipating smoke and dust, his gaze fixed on them, sharp and wary. You were holding back from the very beginning, he growled. Suddenly, his eyes blazed crimson as he lunged forward, unleashing a trio of abilities at once. Freedom's Blessing, level 13, he roared, granting himself partial immunity to movement restriction. King's Blessing, level 23, boosting all his attributes. And finally, Halo of Retribution, level 18, infusing his attack with pure, destructive power. Xiao Yuan, seeing the onslaught, rushed forward, summoning a wave of emerald green energy. Hao Ran, I'll hold him off. You guys run. But before she could finish, Jordan had already bypassed her defenses with terrifying ease. His blade flashed towards Hao Ran, who stood frozen, caught completely off guard. With a desperate flick of his wrist, Hao Ran pulled a single roasted chicken from his pocket, thrusting it against the advancing blade. Neither yielded, their gazes locked, each burning with unyielding determination. But Hao Ran only had one chicken. It held for a precious moment, then buckled under Jordan's overwhelming force, sending Hao Ran sprawling. Hao Ran crashed to the ground, his energy depleted. He struggled to sit up, a bitter laugh escaping his lips. I managed to hold my own against him with the chickens, he thought, but in a direct confrontation, the difference in our levels is just too much. He glanced towards Xiao Yuan, who stood frozen in the distance, a look of panic on her face. I told you to hold him off, he snapped. At least buy us a second. Xiao Yuan stammered. I tried. I'm completely drained. Suddenly, her expression hardened with resolve. This time I can stop him. Xiao Yuan unleashed her skill, Spirit Fire Art, level 4. Magical energy surged into her hands, coalescing into a high-velocity projectile. Roasted Chicken Enhancement, she cried, amplifying the attack's power exponentially. The blast tore through the air, aimed directly at Jordan. It detonated in midair, a blinding flash of light and heat. Lu Jio gasped. That light, it's the light of a divine artifact exploding. Dulon, having weathered Xiao Yuan's attack, emerged singed and disheveled, his hair standing on end. Are they finally out of roasted chickens? He thought, I can't waste any more energy. I need to get that wisdom stone. Suddenly, Enlu materialized behind him. Backstab level 6, he hissed. If playing fair won't work, a little dirty trick won't kill me. Jordan swiftly spun around, launching another attack and parrying Enlu's dagger. Nearby, the outer stone of wisdom lay on the ground, catching his eye. Hao Ran, reeling from the earlier blow that had sent him flying, scrambled to his feet, his voice urgent as he yelled at Enlu to grab the stone. Hearing this, Enlu immediately abandoned her attack on Jordan and lunged for the stone. But Jordan reacted just as quickly. Not so fast, he snarled, slamming the pommel of his sword into Enlu's stomach. She gasped in pain, momentarily stunned. From behind, Dulon watched, his gaze fixed intently on the stone, his determination to possess it absolute. Just as his fingers brushed against it, Lu Jio's long legs appeared, as if from nowhere. With a precise kick, she sent the outer stone of wisdom sailing back towards Hao Ran and Xiao Yuan, who were waiting to receive it. Hao Ran surged forward. The coveted stone was almost within his grasp. Dulon, wary, shot him a sharp look. Suddenly, a voice rang out, please stop fighting. It was the woman on the television screen, her face contorted in pain. Don't hurt each other because of me. Xiao calmly picked up the remote. He turned to Beliam and Babylon, who were sitting obediently on the server. I've finished fixing the TV. I'm gonna take a nap. Be good and watch TV, okay? Both of them immediately replied, yes, master. Xiao walked away, a pleased smile playing on his lips. He hadn't expected that after mastering the construction skill to the Grandmaster level, he'd be able to fix televisions. It seemed he'd be saving a lot on repair costs in the future. He mused to himself, surviving in this world really isn't easy. I have to budget carefully. Xiao continued walking, lost in thought. What should should I master next? He wondered. Watching his retreating figure, Bel-I-Am and Babylon wore expressions of awe and adoration. Master has truly invested heavily in infiltrating human society, they murmured. Meanwhile, Hao Ran's face glowed with confidence as the outer stone of wisdom seemed to fall into his hand. Got it, he exclaimed. But suddenly, Jordan's hand flashed out, covering Hao Ran's face and blocking his vision. With a shove, Jordan sent Hao Ran sprawling. His other hand, now free, casually scooped up the outer stone of wisdom, closing his fingers around it. Hao Ran scrambled to his feet, staring in disbelief at Jordan examining the stone in his palm. Hey, he sputtered indignantly. He rounded on Jordan, demanding, how did you teleport here so suddenly? Lu Jio and Enlu were equally surprised and confused. We were attacking him nonstop, Lu Jio said, bewildered. How could he have moved there under our combined assault? Enlu noticed something strange. The person we were just attacking has turned into this doll. A smug smirk played on Jordan's lips. It's just a C-rank rogue skill, street smarts. Sleight of hand, he said mockingly. I picked it up in my spare time. Hao Ran glared at Jordan, his teeth grinding in frustration. You! With cold indifference, Jordan lashed out, his long leg connecting squarely with Hao Ran's face. The others gasped. Xiao Hao. Xiao Yuan cried out in alarm. Lu Jio exclaimed, you! How dare you! How dare you! But then, their expressions shifted. Lu Jio suddenly found herself unable to fault him, even feeling a sense of satisfaction. Enlu echoed the sentiment. He deserved that, she muttered. Jordan held the outer stone of wisdom aloft, his voice cold. It's time to end this charade. As his words faded, a surge of purple magic erupted from the stone, swirling in the air above them. Lu Jio and Enlu quickly pulled out their enchanted roasted chickens, but they hadn't anticipated the outer stone of wisdom instantly draining the gadget's power. The energy was siphoned so rapidly that they collapsed, utterly depleted. Lu Jio exclaimed, this is the power of an S-rank gadget combined with the outer stone of wisdom. Even the victory chickens Lord Demon King gave us couldn't withstand it. Xiao Yuan added weakly, her voice laced with worry. If humans get their hands on this, Lord Demon King will be in grave danger. While the others were engrossed in their discussion, Dulan approached Hao Ran, Mr. Qing. His voice was cold. I thought we were more alike, a top-tier player among humans, and yet you risk everything for the Demon King. Aren't you ashamed? Hao Ran remained defiant, a smirk playing on his lips. Do you really have the right to say that to me? Dulan ignored Hao Ran's provocation. Calmly, he stated, no matter how humiliated humans become, one day they will rise again. I have never doubted the prophecy of humanity's victory. Hao Ran retorted sarcastically. Well, I have my doubts. Jordan looked at him, exasperated, and remained silent. Seeing Jordan turn to leave, Hao Ran asked in surprise, you're not going to kill us? Jordan replied coldly, there's no need. Before departing, he issued a warning, no matter how far you push your boundaries, there are lines you should never cross. When I bring the outer stone back to Sky City, you'll understand the extent of your foolish short-sightedness. Lu Jio could only report, he's taken the stone. With Dulan gone, their strength began to return, each of them regaining 399 energy points. Hao Ran watched helplessly. I knew it. If such a powerful gadget falls in enemy hands, our mission is as good as failed. Tears welling in her eyes, Xiao Yuan approached Hao Ran. Xiao Hao, I'm scared. Can we withstand the Demon King's wrath? He responded gently, what do you think? Meanwhile, Enlu silently drew a dagger from her sleeve. She thought to herself, I should just kill them, and then myself. However, her unusual behavior didn't escape the notice of Lu Jio beside her. Lu Jio suggested, why don't we report back first? As she spoke, she casually extended both hands, intercepting Enlu's thrust. Lu Jio, unfazed by the attack, turned to Enlu with a wry smile. The outer stone's power is overwhelming. Even so many chickens couldn't defeat it. It can't be helped. As long as we present our results sincerely, Lord Demon King might forgive us. What do you think? Enlu stared back at Lu Jio with an impassive expression, remaining silent. A short while later, the petrified, now charred and partially crumbled remains of the sprite princess suddenly appeared. The remains were placed on the table in front of Xia, Hao Ran, and Enlu stood beside him. Xiada looked at the remains and asked, is this the sprite you were talking about? Hao Ran gave a strained laugh. Yes, but not entirely. He pulled out a plastic bag. There's still a third left here. Xiada was speechless, utterly dumbfounded. Hao Ran asked tentatively, although the most important part is gone, do you think this will be acceptable? Xiada's face darkened instantly. Acceptable? He asked coldly. Hao Ran trembled, his face paling. I'm dead, he thought. He's furious. Meanwhile, Enlu's thoughts took a different turn. Her eyes widened, sparkling with admiration. Lord Xiada is so handsome, even when he's angry. Xiada's heart was a hollow drum, a cavern of despair. His eyes, bloodshot and burning, flicked between the two figures before him. Meanwhile, in the virtual world of Sky City, joyous greetings echoed incessantly. Lord Xiada, welcome back, Lord Xiada. Was the mission a success? Jordan, his face radiant, waved cheerfully from his sleek vehicle. Someone in the crowd exclaimed, oh my god, it's been so long since we've seen Lord Jordan smile like that. He responded amiably to the throngs of well-wishers, his mood buoyant. A resounding success, a complete triumph. Humanity has finally grasped true hope. A murmur rippled through his subordinates. Really? That's fantastic. A staff member holding a folder stood outside the building. Counselor Yu Li has been waiting for you for a long time. Please report to him personally. Jordan ascended the steps and entered the building, replying softly, understood. Inside, a vast room bristled with advanced technology. At its center sat a large, round table. Yu Li, his face etched with a deep frown, leaned forward on the table, his hands braced against the polished surface. 7 of the 12 Sky City counselors sat around him. You finally returned, Jordan, he said coldly. The other counselors stirred. Tell us, Jordan. One spoke. What kind of true hope has humanity found? Jordan strode confidently towards the round table. I retrieve this, he declared. He produced the stone he had painstakingly acquired. The sprite's treasure, the outer stone of wisdom. The crimson gem shimmered in the air, captivating the attention of everyone present. Meanwhile, back with Xiada, a bright smile stretched across his face. What were you saying? His eyes, wide and innocent, fixed on the charred remains of the sprite princess that Hao Ran had brought. Though he couldn't see what a true sprite looked like, the fact that they brought him a gift filled him with a quiet joy. Probably a souvenir from a nearby dungeon shop, he thought to himself, not voicing his suspicion. And a price he wanted that. What a shame it's broken. Seeing Xiada's cheerful demeanor, Hao Ran and Enlu exchanged surprised glances. They quickly adjusted adjusted their expressions. Hao Ran's nose practically morphed into a heart. Yes, he thought triumphantly. Lord Xia isn't angry. Beside him, Enlu preened, lost in self-congratulation. Could it be he's pleased because he favors me? Xia, fascinated by the blackened sprite princess remains, peered intently at them. Besides, he said, addressing the other two, I happen to have some experience with related technology. I might be able to fix it. Hao Ran froze, his smile solidifying into a rictus. Fix it? Fix what? He recalled Jordan's methods, his jaw dropping. He's not going to use glue again, is he? Beside him, Enlu's bubble of self-satisfaction burst. So it wasn't because he favors me after all. Xiada analyzed the damage. The chest area is the most severely damaged. If I can restore that, it shouldn't be a problem. Hao Ran pondered. Jordan said, that's where sprites concentrate their power. The explosion, that means to prevent it from falling into our hands. The sprite released all of its energy at once. Doing so also meant certain death. Hao Ran stared at the empty space on the ground. Her energy, her very essence, dissipated with the blast, returning to the world's energy flow. Like a drop of water falling into the ocean. There's simply no way to retrieve that single drop. Just say what's on your mind. Hao Ran said regretfully to Xiada, Mr. Xia, I'm afraid she truly can't be restored. Is there nothing more you can do? Such a pity. Unexpectedly, Xiada stood up and retrieved a small box. No way around it, he said to them. Instead of her chest, I'll use this one I whipped up 2 days ago. Hao Ran's face was a mask of blank incomprehension. He was utterly bewildered. Xiada was planning to redesign the shattered chest of the sprite princess. This skin tone is pretty good. A perfect chest appeared. Xiada, his faith placed firmly in his creation, declared, you're the chosen one. He calmly donned medical gloves, reassuring himself. Even if I can't fight, repairing a doll is still within my professional expertise. Xiada focused intently. All he needed to do now was follow his intuition. Find the universal button within the heart. All operations could be returned to their original essence, and complexity could be simplified. One for all. The entire modern system delivered a notification. Press F to repair the sprite doll. If you're using a controller, please press B. Xiada, receiving the information, yelled, now's the time. He channeled all his energy to connect the chess piece. The sprite's newly perfected body shimmered. Did it work? Her vibrant golden hair had returned. Xiada was still in a daze. The special effects are pretty realistic. Meanwhile, Hao Ran beside him was losing his composure. This is energy gathering within her body. The sprite princess, Haini, slowly opened her eyes, still disoriented, unsure of who she was. The first thing she saw was a handsome young man with blazing red eyes staring intently at her. This startled her. Her eyes widened in confusion. Why is the demon king here? Suddenly, something felt wrong. Haini looked down. Her hands touched her new chest. Her previously ample bosom was gone. My chest is ruined, she thought. It's become an A cup. Haini's face contorted in horror. Unable to believe it was the smallest size, she despaired. With nothing left to live for, the sprite princess Haini turned to stone once more, falling into a peaceful slumber. This time, she truly didn't want to wake up. Don't save me again, please. Hao Ran was in despair, sweat pouring down his face. She was absolutely alive just now. His face was ashen. He looked towards the still oblivious Xiada with a mixture of awe and bewilderment. What kind of heaven-defying power is this? Completely changing the laws of energy flow. Truly an omnipotent being. Xiada noticed Hao Ran's distress, but misinterpreted it, thinking it was his own fault. He turned to Hao Ran with a sincere smile. I didn't expect the souvenir doll you brought back to be so lifelike. I really like it. Hao Ran's eyes bulged. His lips went dry. His skin turned pale. Utter confusion and a profound questioning of his worldview washed over him. Xiada's words twisted his mind into a bird's nest. Doll, he thought. Hao Ran, in agonizing disbelief, spat out water. The sprite princess, coveted by humans and demons for millennia, and he called her doll. Enlu, beside him, seemed to regain some life, murmuring in a daze, doll. So that's Lord Xiada's preference. I understand completely. Enlu's eyes gleamed like starlight. Sitting in a corner, lost in thought, she fantasized about Xiada. The rare sprite princess has fallen into Lord Xiada's hands. She can only become a doll for him to play with. Lord Xiada appears indifferent, but in reality, he's full of passion. So captivating. Truly captivating. She couldn't restrain the frantic beating of her heart. I also want to find a way to become such a woman, to receive Lord Xiada's favor. Meanwhile, Hao Ran stood before her, forcing a smile, trying to follow Xiada's train of thought. I also bought this at the souvenir shop. Hao Ran pulled out a small blue sphere and offered it to Xiada, delighted by the unexpected gift. Xiada accepted it. From a sphere, a doorbell manifested. It scares you like that? This is the extent of your wrath? Feel my 10,000-year hatred. You brought this upon yourselves. Rather than fear, Xiada found the doorbell novel. Turning to Hao Ran, he spoke with a hint of amusement. It's rather interesting. I think I could modify it and use it as a door alarm. If these things aren't useful to you, then I'll gladly take your word for it. Hao Ran, please, replied. Please, by all means, keep it. Xiada, still slightly embarrassed, said, I don't have much to offer in return. Hao Ran quickly dismissed the notion. Return? You're too kind. While they chatted amiably, Haini, the sprite princess, cracked open her eyes, having heard everything. So that's how it is. These humans, she shuddered, making deals with the demon king. I want to hear it. What could be more precious than me that they would betray their own kind to obtain it? Her tiny ears perked up, straining to hear every word. Oblivious to her awakening, Xiada asked Hao Ran cordially, did you finish the roast chicken last time? He replied humorously, finished it all. It was incredibly powerful. Xiada, innocently misunderstanding, responded, good, I'm glad you liked it. He enthusiastically continued, I also have some higher grade salted chicken. I'll give you that too. Hao Ran, not one to refuse, replied, thank you so much. Haini, eavesdropping, froze, unable to believe her ears. What, chicken? I am the sprite princess, and you traded me for chickens. The aroma of salted chicken wafted through the air. Haini, though she hadn't tasted it, found her mouth watering. It certainly smells delicious. But she quickly snapped back to reality. The taste isn't the point. The point is I'm in the hands of the demon king. What am I going to do? Meanwhile, Hao Ran En and Lu prepare to leave. Hao Ran waved goodbye to Xiao. We're gonna go level up now. Xiao encouraged them. Good luck. Come back and visit again soon. Finally, the two of them exited the building. Lu Jiao and Xiao Yuan, approaching from behind, immediately inquired, so, how did it go? Hao Ran didn't answer the question directly, simply greeting them with, welcome back. Lu Jiao glanced at them, splitting their path. We're in charge of funeral preparations, aren't we? Xiao Yuan whined playfully. Little Hao, I'm very capable, you know, she boasted cheerfully. I used the money we got this time to buy a grave in a really good location. That way, even if the Demon King kills us, at least we won't be wandering ghosts. Exasperated, Hao Ran sighed. Lucy, Hao Ran then explained coldly. The Demon King has no intention of blaming us. The clueless Xiao Yuan immediately turned around. Oh, I see. I'll go return it then. Lu Jiao tugged on her sleeve, stopping her. Keep it. We'll need it sooner or later in this apocalypse. Finishing her sentence, she turned and asked pointedly, what happened exactly? Hao Ran, with a sly grin, replied. Turns out the sprite we risked our necks for was just a doll. He was so pleased. He even gifted us 10 salted chickens. Lu Jiao exclaimed in surprise. What, 10 salted chickens? A new divine artifact, and 10 of them. Hao Ran, stroking his hair, confirmed. That's right. His power is truly eye-opening. It makes you realize you're on the right side. It's truly fantastic. All of them regained their confidence. With such a powerful backer, they had nothing to worry about. Meanwhile, in Sky City, Jordan proudly presented his findings. I retrieved this, the outer stone of wisdom, he declared, but his hands were empty. The council members leaned forward, curious and bewildered. A murmur spread through the room. I don't see anything. What's going on? Could Counselor Jordan be mistaken? Impossible. Counselor Jordan is humanity's hope. One counselor, convinced of his own brilliance, declared, I understand. It's a type of magic that only intelligent people can see. Another chimed in. I see it. Absolutely magnificent. As expected of humanity's hope. Yu Li, seated in the center, remained silent, head bowed. Jordan panicked. How can this be? It was in my hand just a moment ago, but it suddenly transformed into energy and was absorbed. It vanished instantly. Hearing this, the counselor who had just agreed quickly backtracked. So it wasn't a setting where only intelligent people could see it. The other scratched his bald head. You should have said so earlier. Yu Li sternly interrupted the commotion. Silence, he declared. The sprite princess has been revived. The outer stone of wisdom is a sprite artifact. It's natural for it to return her. Jordan's face darkened in disbelief. What? You're saying the sprite princess is alive again? Yu Li, with unwavering certainty, replied, yes. And not just you. I've been observing the Demon King's every move. I must say, his acting is quite convincing. Jordan still tried to argue, but the sprite princess exploded right in front of me. Exploded into pieces. There's no way she could be revived. Yu Li slammed his hand on the table and stood up. Precisely, he continued, his voice resonating with authority. Given this situation, there are two possibilities. First, you were deceived by him. From the moment you first entered the real world, you've been under his control. Jordan averted his gaze. I can't explain. Yu Li pressed on, and the second possibility. A somber shadow fell over the council members. The air grew heavy with tension. Yu Li's face was grim, his eyes sharp as he looked at Jordan and uttered each word with chilling weight. You betrayed us. Heine lay on the bed, beads of sweat dotting her brow, her expression filled with extreme anxiety. Did those humans really leave me here? She wondered. She bit her lip, her worry masked by feigned sleep. Xiao approached her, radiating a palpable aura of menace. He looked down at her and said, well, it's just the two of us now. Sensing the terrifying aura beside her, Heine still didn't dare open her eyes, squeezing them shut as tightly as possible. He knows I'm awake, she thought fearfully. Just the two of us. What does he want to do? Will I have to fight? Do I stand a chance against the Demon King? Beneath the covers, her hands began to gather energy, preparing for the worst. Surprisingly, Xiao placed his hand on Heine's head. He sat down beside her and spoke softly, trying to soothe her. Don't be afraid. It's just the two of us. You can open your eyes and look. No one will hurt you. Upon hearing his voice, Heine's fear instantly vanished, replaced by a strangely warm feeling. Inwardly, she marveled, such a warm voice. This is the Demon King? Why does it feel so warm? The room, previously gloomy, now seemed to radiate countless warm rays of sunshine. Suddenly, from Heine's perspective, Xiao became terrifying. The sprite's passive skill, True Sight, activated. Just seconds later, Heine involuntarily reverted to her child form. As I thought, I'm still terrified, she thought to herself. Xiakta, witnessing the transformation, exclaimed in surprise. Why did you change back? And you've shrunk. Meanwhile, Jordan, holding a report, approached Yu Li. Seeing Yu Li's figure, Jordan couldn't help but gasp. At a time like this, in the meeting room, Yu Li's fury surged. He glared at Jordan with an accusatory and enraged look. The second possibility, you betrayed us. Faced with Yu Li's terrifying expression, Jordan remained impassive, trying to suppress his emotions. He looked at the group and began, but before he could finish, Yu Li flicked his wrist dismissively. Immediately, a beam of laser light shot down from above, and another beam simultaneously descended beside it. The beams formed a transparent cubic box, trapping Jordan inside. His eyes widened in disbelief at the unfolding events. He wasn't the only one surprised. Everyone around him was equally astonished. At that moment, NPC 7 rushed forward, shouting, impossible. Lord Jordan is humanity's hope. He's the one who will ultimately defeat the Demon King alongside the players. How could he betray us? But before he could finish, a surge of power launched from afar, striking him. Seeing his close subordinate attacked, Jordan cried out in alarm. Caught off guard, NPC 7 was slammed against the wall. Beside him, Yu Li called out, number 7. Immediately, a poisonous aura enveloped NPC 7. Yu Li aimed a gun at him. Seeing the gun, Yu Li's subordinates gasped in astonishment. Lord Yu Li, that's... Yu Li, his expression wary, glanced at them. Looking at the gun in Yu Li's hand, one of them exclaimed, it's the S+ rank divine weapon bestowed upon us by the gods. The Demon Slayer number 3. Yu Li looked at NPC 7 and began to hypnotize him. Borrowing the power of the creator of the divine artifact, Moshi, no one can withstand this power. After a moment, NPC 7, seemingly under control, placed his hand over his chest and bowed his head submissively. As you command, Lord Yuli. You are right. Yuli smiled in satisfaction. That's more like it. Jordan glared at him furiously. Yuli pointed the gun at Jordan. Then he spoke. Lord Jordan, this isn't very appropriate, is it? Special times call for special measures. Now that things have spiraled out of control, we must resort to more drastic actions. As for betrayal, just look at the low-level code and you'll see. As he spoke, Yuli slowly tightened his grip on the device in his hand. Turning towards Xiada, Bao Bao looked up at him and whimpered softly. Xiada was putting on his shoes, preparing to leave. Noticing Bao Bao's gaze, Xiada turned back and said, You're wondering why I'm going out? I'm gonna get this sprite doll appraised. I don't know why, but she won't transform back into a human. I'm worried she might be broken, so I'm going to the shop to ask. Hearing this, Bao Bao gestured towards herself with a front paw, looking at Xiada with pleading eyes and whimpering softly. Xiada immediately left, closing the door behind him. Then from outside, he called back, Don't cause any trouble. Be a good girl and guard the house. This place relies on you to keep watch. Don't let. He trailed off. Outside, the clear blue sky suddenly darkened as ominous clouds gathered. The wind began to pick up. Looking at the sky, Xiada's expression tightened slightly. Such dark clouds, could it be? Suddenly, he touched his head with a slightly foolish expression and wondered aloud. Is it going to rain heavily? He quickly opened his umbrella and cheerfully went on his way. Good thing I have an umbrella. Back with you, Lee. He pointed his gun at Jordan, his voice laced with anger. You wanted to find me too? Counselor Yu Lee, Jordan responded. I believe, like you, I'm also part of the pro-war faction, am I not? Yu Lee continued speaking, but Machi, perched on the table, interjected. Indeed, that is correct. Then, glancing sideways, Machi thought to himself, if I could fight back, I'd certainly be pro-war. That adorable kitten defeating a level 84 monster. Incredible. But by borrowing the power of my master's demonic weapon, I, Machi, am their strongest trump card now. Even against the Demon King, victory isn't impossible. If we can win, the situation could be completely reversed. What do you think? He asked, directing his gaze at Yu Lee. Yu Lee, completely bewildered, blurted out, whatever you're thinking, it doesn't sound good to me. Machi then looked at Yu Lee and said, I agree with going to war. However, I've witnessed the Demon King's power firsthand. In this world, perhaps only you, wielding the demonic weapon, possess the strength to oppose him. Why not face the Demon King yourself? Use your power to show those stubborn fools the error of their ways. Yu Lee silently observed Machi. Then, he lowered his weapon and said, that makes sense. Seeing his apparent success in persuading Yu Lee, Machi hopped off the table. Then I'll take my leave. Yu Lee waved his hand and declared, then it's decided. Trapped within the cubic box, Jordan exclaimed, wait, are you serious? Yu Lee smiled faintly, tucking his gun back into his coat. I will personally meet with the Demon King. I'll show your weak, hopeful self what true human strength looks like. Jordan was aghast at Yu Lee's intention. He looked at him and shouted, don't be foolish, Counselor Yu Lee. The Demon King isn't as simple as you think. Despite Jordan's pleas, Yu Lee remained resolute. Snapping his fingers, he declared, I will confirm that myself. You stay put in prison and await my good news. Immediately after these words, the cubic box vanished. Yu Lee waved his hand, and Jordan abruptly disappeared from the room. He then looked down at the people below, smiled, and announced, all right, prepare to engage the Demon King. Shut down all game world services, including the trading post in the safe zone of Kujiyami. Evacuate all NPCs from the safe zone of Kujiyami. Shut down Bultagang, although whether it's open or closed makes no difference. As his words faded, Yu Lee's ship gradually emerged from the dark clouds. He continued issuing commands. Demon Slayer number 3+, target the safe zone of Kujiyami and prepare for direct fire. The appearance of this strange object in the sky drew bewildered stares from everyone below. Machi approached Yu Lee and asked, Counselor Yu Lee, do you intend to abandon the safe zone of Kujiyami? Yu Lee turned sharply and replied, Kujiyami is about to become the Demon King's final dungeon. What's the point of keeping it? Machi responded, I suppose you're right. Then, a cruel smile spread across his face. He glanced sideways, thinking to himself, Counselor Yu Lee is serious this time. If we win, my retirement fund. Yu Lee looked down and roared, Army, follow me. Advance. Below, sharp blades glinted. Even if we can't kill the Demon King, we must retrieve the sprite. He then lifted his head high, his voice filled with arrogance. And furthermore, contact the media and arrange for a global live broadcast. Let the whole world see what true hope looks like. Xiao arrived to find everything closed. Seeing this, a thought struck him. Could it be? He happily pondered. Is today a legal holiday? Suddenly, in the distance, he saw a group of people running away from the city. As they ran, they shouted, Get out of the city now, or it'll be too late. Xiao stared after them, bewildered. He stood there, thinking, are they going on vacation because of the holiday? Suddenly, someone called out to him, Hey, what are you still standing there for? Bultagang just shut down, so run. Xiao was puzzled. Bultagang shut down? Is even the system deity on holiday? The benefits in this game world are incredible. As he stood there pondering, a piece of paper fluttered down near him. He looked at it. It was a newspaper. It read, Kujiyami safe zone. Housing prices drop. He picked up the paper and read it again. Housing prices drop. He slumped to the ground, finally realizing the gravity of the situation. Suddenly, a large crowd appeared behind Xiada, advancing towards him. In their hands, they carried sharp spears. Xiada realized he was surrounded. Yu Lee, at the head of the group, stepped forward. We finally found you. Xiada, still oblivious, asked, What's going on? Tiny Hai Ni poked her head out of Xiada's pocket. Did I fall asleep again? She opened her eyes to the startling sight of armed figures standing before her. What was happening? Could it be that humans and demons were clashing over her again? Oh no, was the 1,000-year-old tragedy repeating itself? How utterly heartbreaking. Xiada stood there, addressing Hai Ni. Don't be afraid, he said. I'll count to 3. He began to count, the assembled humans and demons watching him intently. Tears welling in her eyes, Hai Ni cried out, The Demon King is about to attack. Run. You can't defeat this Demon King. Yu Lee and the others, both human and demon, watched Xiada tensely, unsure of his next move. Xiada continued counting. 2. Hai Ni, nestled in Xiada's pocket, thought miserably, so I truly am a being that brings ruin to nations. Am I not even worthy of happiness? Xiada reached the final count. 3. Then, he turned and sprinted away from the assembled crowd, yelling, Run. Hai Ni was bewildered. He had fled instead of attacking. One of the demons turned to Yu Lee. Counselor, should we pursue him? Yu Lee hesitated. Wait, he ordered, a frown creasing his face. this. This could be a trap. As they watched, Xiada stumbled and fell to the ground. The same demon spoke again. Counselor, what now? Yuli, still suspicious, replied. Isn't this even more suspicious? They bound Xiada, who sat on the ground, trembling with fear, his face a mask of terror. The words, someone save me, were practically etched onto his features. The demon sighed, turning to Yuli. I didn't expect it to be this easy. Yuli, equally surprised, admitted. To be honest, I was quite frightened. He then asked, did you find the sprite or the stone of wisdom? The demon replied, although he surrendered willingly. Searching him feels intimidating. He seemed hesitant to proceed. From her hiding place behind a rock, Tiny Hind Knee observed the unfolding scene. She watched furtively, puzzled. Why? Why wouldn't he fight back when he clearly possesses such overwhelming power? A passive sprite? True side eyes? Xiada's level? Impossible to determine. Heine wondered what he was playing at. Yuli's sudden shout startled Xiada. Hey, Xiada. Xiada responded meekly. Yes? Hand over the sprite, Yuli demanded. Xiada feigned ignorance. Sprite? Is that what you're after? A sly grin spread across his face. How much are you willing to pay? Heine, the demon, and Yuli were all taken aback by his words. How much? Heine thought sadly. He wants to sell me. Yuli, equally stunned, thought, he wants to sell me the sprite? What's going on? Xiada chuckled inwardly. So that's what you wanted. Why didn't you just say so? You scare me half to death. He breathed a sigh of relief. Yuli, however, grew increasingly suspicious. This is definitely fishy. This is a priceless treasure, an immense power capable of disrupting the balance, on par with a divine weapon. How could he sell it so readily? The capture, the offer to sell, it's all a pretense. I'm not like that idiot Jordan. I won't be fooled. He then let out a yell. I won't pay a single cent. True chi reinforcement. A stunned silence followed his declaration. Xiada, indignant, exclaimed, you're trying to cheat me? Yuli, confused, asked, cheat? Cheat you how? Xiada glanced at the other demon. What about you? He asked. Do you want the sprite doll too? The demon stammered. He stammered, a blush creeping up his face. How could I not want it? Xiada, seizing the opportunity, shot back. Then how much are you willing to pay? An eerie silence descended upon the scene. It felt as if the entire world was watching them through the live feeds streaming across social media. After a moment of serious contemplation, the demon stammered. I earned 13 gold a month. I've saved up 430 gold so far. If I could get a loan, I think I could pay around 1,200 gold. Xiada's voice boomed. Do I hear a higher offer? The onlookers exchanged bewildered glances. A shared thought rippled through them. A higher offer? For what? Yuli, his patience wearing thin, snapped. You scoundrel. Do you think this is an auction house? But then, voices erupted from the crowd. I'll add 100, 500 more. I can pay in full right here. Yuli stared at his subordinates in disbelief. What are you doing? Tiny Heine, cowering behind a boulder, thought fearfully. Are they really auctioning it off? How did this happen? The bidding continued. Another 100. Let me have it. Look at me. I really want it. 1,500. Don't outbid me, brother. Heine realized with a start. This is disarming the soldiers. All their hostility is gone. Peeking out from behind the rock, she thought, could it be? Heine glanced furtively at Xiada, a suspicion dawning in her mind. This is all part of his plan. She noticed the numerous cameras surrounding them, broadcasting the scene live across social media. The bids continue to climb. 1,300 gold, 1,350, 1,800, 2,000, 2,500, 3,000. Xiada sat back, a smug grin playing on his lips. The rising prices were music to his ears. His amusement growing, he let out a hearty laugh and bellowed. Do I hear any higher bids? Despite the tense atmosphere, Xiada was thoroughly enjoying himself. The demon, sensing something, turned to Yuli. Your Excellency, people online are starting to bid as well. Yuli looked at him, bewildered. What? Because you arranged for a global live stream. Everyone around the world is watching the auction, the demon explained. Yuli sputtered. Preposterous. How could these new players possibly understand the value of a sprite? The demon replied. They don't. They say, as long as it's pretty, that's all that matters. Yuli froze, dumbfounded. But where are they getting the money to bid? The demon answered. They're crowdfunding. Yuli, Heine, and the demon stared at each other in stunned silence. Crowdfunding? Is that even possible? Heine, a child abandoned by time, having slept for 1,000 years, had no idea what crowdfunding meant. Crowdfunding, a novel investment model where individuals contribute to projects, companies, and ventures, granting them certain rights and responsibilities, was a concept entirely foreign to her. At that moment, money from all corners of the globe was pouring in. Yuli, realizing the implications, barked orders at his subordinates. Quick, shut down the live stream. Now. Yes, sir. They scrambled to obey. Heine, still hidden, pondered the situation. He's not just dissolving the enemy's hostility and morale. He's uniting the entire world. Peeking out from behind the boulder, she thought, this demon king, truly exquisite, this difference. In Heine's eyes, Xiada seemed magnificent. Xiada sat there, lost in thought. Wholesale souvenirs from the dungeon shop, then resell them to these soldiers, and stream it all live. Good heavens, what an unexpected windfall. Speaking of those souvenirs, I wonder if I could get Little how to fetch them from the shop. We could all get rich. They're really something, managing to get their hands on such valuable goods. Elsewhere, Xiao Yuan and Hao Ran stood close together. Xiao Yuan, sensing something in Hao Ran's demeanor, asked, what's wrong? Hao Ran replied, I feel like the demon king is thinking of me. In the distance, a sign stood near them. First human team to complete the mechanical chicken escort mission. Reward, 1,500 yef. Back where Xiada sat, Heine timidly emerged from behind the boulder. Mr. Xia, she whispered. Xia das Eichmithirsch. Tears welling in her eyes, she asked, are you really going to sell me? Xiada was taken aback by her words. He told Heine, I just want to survive. The menacing faces of the soldiers flashed through his mind. He explained, if I don't hand you over, they'll just take you by force. Heine, hearing this, asked, why not fight back? Xiada's response was immediate. Resisting violence only breeds more violence. Too much violence. Xiada imagined the scene. Him resisting, only to be beaten and mocked. He dared to resist? Hit him harder. Heine was moved by Xiada's words. Violence only breeds more violence. Such a simple statement, she thought. It explains why the world is mired in war, she mused. So that's how he thinks, single-handedly severing the tragedy of millennia of conflict. Such a compassionate demon king. This is true nobility. Then, Heine spoke to Xiada. If it were you, perhaps a bloodless, peaceful world could truly be achieved. Xiada stared blankly, stunned by her words. Xiada looked at Heine. Such a cute, small creature, he murmured. She trembled, saying, for such a world, I'm willing. Suddenly, a voice boomed. 5,400 gold. First bid. Xiada's attention snapped towards the sound. What? 5,400 gold already. High Knee, indignant, radiated anger. But the voice continued. 5,400 gold, second bid. 5,400 gold, third bid. A human-demon hybrid announcer declared. Congratulations to Counselor View Lee for the highest bid. Despite the victory, View Lee looked anything but happy. View Lee, his face grim, thought, I still ended up bidding to ensure control over the sprite's intellect. Fighting against global crowdfunding with the resources of a ruined man, a heroic effort, in a way. But if I can secure the sprite, along with the third descender, the council and the world will be mine. He remained impassive, his face etched with exhaustion. Victory is within my grasp, he thought. Moments later, Wong, holding a bag of gold, attempted to complete the transaction with Xiada, but the system flashed a message. Transaction failed. Both men stared dumbfounded. The system announced, the sprite High Knee is soulbound to Xiada trade is impossible. View Lee looked down at his hands. High Knee, perched on View Lee's hand, mumbled something inaudible. Moments later, High Knee floated upwards, startling View Lee. She then drifted over to Xiada, landing gracefully on his hand and bowing. The contract is established, she declared. From now on, you are my master. Xiada looked up, a blush creeping across his face. Sorry, big brother, he stammered to View Lee. I didn't know it would turn out like this. View Lee, enraged, roared. You dare trick me? You were playing me all along. Fearful of View Lee's mounting fury and the palpable aura of power radiating from him, Xiada pleaded, Big brother, I truly didn't mean to. Big brother, let me explain. Just let me explain. Perched atop Xiada's head, High Knee struck a seductive pose and addressed View Lee with a sigh. The rice is cooked. Just give it up. Stop harboring these delusions about me. She shrugged dramatically. Besides, she added, you're too old. Not my type. Xiada's jaw dropped. That's not what I wanted you to say, he blurted. View Lee stood dumbfounded, reeling from High Knee's blunt rejection. Enraged, he whipped out a gun and pointed it at Xiada. Enough, he bellowed. Xiada flinched, terror gripping him as something materialized in the sky above. View Lee continued. If you have anything to say it after you take a blast from my cannon. The map cannon began to charge, its energy building. Below, a small cat, grooming itself, noticed the ominous weapon powering up. The map cannon continued to gather energy. Inside, a crew worked frantically at View Lee's command. One of them shouted, receiving orders. Demon Slayer 3+ ready. Prepare to fire. Target, Kyujima safe zone. Panic erupted in the city below as people saw the massive weapon. What is that? A map cannon. People scrambled, desperate to escape. Are we the target? Run for your lives. There's no time. The map cannon glowed, a menacing crimson. Fire, the operator inside yelled, reaching for the launch button. Suddenly, the small cat from below appeared, leaping onto the operator's hand and then down again. The operator stared blankly, bewildered by the cat's sudden appearance. The cat's glare snapped him back to reality. Don't point strange things at other people's homes, it scolded. A beeping sound emanated from beneath the cat's paws. It looked down, puzzled. Can I press this? It wondered aloud. Then, the map cannon unleashed a colossal beam of red light towards the city below. An energy field enveloped the city. Panic turned to sheer terror as people fled. We're doomed. A beam of light from above. It's coming down. The city is about to be destroyed, someone cried. Just as the words left their mouth, a massive energy beam slammed into the city from above, its bluish light angled downwards. A man, witnessing the strange energy descending upon the city, exclaimed, it stopped. Another voice responded, not just stopped, as if drawn by an unseen force. The energy within the city began to converge on a single point, swirling inwards like something being sucked into a vortex. It's Bao Bao, someone shouted. The creature, mouth agape, absorbed the energy descending from above. The NPCs stared in disbelief. This is impossible. That is the power of the creator, the ultimate, supreme intellectual power, the strongest in this world. A wellspring of power, growing ever larger, surged relentlessly towards Bao Bao. Moments later, it began to absorb all the terrifying energy surrounding the city. After gorging itself, it let out a satisfied burp. Then, it glanced back at the NPCs with a less than pleased expression. Bao Bao rubbed its full belly and declared, the flavor was decent. Simultaneously, it thought to itself, it's a little like the cat food master makes. Witnessing this scene, the NPCs were utterly aghast. Standing on its hind legs, Bao Bao looked at them and said, excuse me, you can bombard anywhere on this map, but aiming for my home's a bit rude, don't you think? Its expression, brimming with murderous intent, drained the color from the NPCs' faces. They stammered in terror. Overcome by fear, the NPCs collapsed, their eyes wide with panic as they looked at Bao Bao. What are you? How do you also possess the power of the creator? At their question, Bao Bao's eyes narrowed, a savage glint within them. You should be asking what my master is. I am merely a cat he keeps to watch the house. The sight of Bao Bao filled them with a primal dread. Outside, high in the sky, a strange machine crackled with electricity. In an instant, a massive explosion ripped through the air. The powerful energy from the blast radiated outwards. Below, the panicked crowd looked up at the sky, crying out, what's happening now? Another explosion? No, it's not an explosion. It's fireworks. The explosion blossomed into a dazzling display of vibrant fireworks. Immediately afterwards, countless figures began to fall from the sky. Bao Bao leaped nimbly from one crumbling piece of debris to another in the air. Suddenly, it paused mid-leap, its eyes widening in surprise. That's Dulan. He was trapped within a cubic prison. Dulan, seeing Bao Bao, stared back in astonishment. From outside the cube, Bao Bao exclaimed, you're... Then, with a mischievous grin, Bao Bao flicked its paw. The cube encasing Dulan shattered into fragments. After a moment, he registered the change, looking around in disbelief. How? He began, but before he could finish, Bao Bao was already bounding away across the debris. Dulan watched in silence as it disappeared. Below, everyone craned their necks skyward, watching the strange objects raining down. Something else is falling, they cried. Are those fireworks made of metal? How is that possible? A young man in a green shirt looked up with tears in his eyes. If those things fall, everyone will die. His friend, dressed in red, smiled and pointed. Look, it's... As Zonander slowly descended towards the ground, the crowd erupted in cheers. It's Du Bruno. He's like a savior emerging from the fireworks. Crushing all the steel, it fell in pieces. All the iron, the steel, the danger, scattered by the wind, transformed into tiny sparks of light. It turns out, it was Dulan. Dulan saved us. He truly is humanity's hope. After landing, he slowly rose and walked towards the crowd. At this moment, countless girls surrounded surrounded him, their voices filled with admiration. Dulan, thank you. Without you, what would we do? Dulan, I'm your biggest fan. Dulan looked at the crowd around him, a bashful expression on his face as he politely demurred. I didn't really do anything. Someone in the crowd looked at him and spoke. Please guide me, Dulan. As if sensing someone's gaze, Dulan turned his eyes to the side. It was Bao Bao. It was sitting on a nearby building, observing him. It smiled, glancing at him, and said, that back scratch you gave me earlier was quite pleasant. Seeing this, Dulan was deeply touched. He looked at Bao Bao and expressed his gratitude. Thank you. Before he could finish, it replied, consider this a fair exchange. Dulan looked towards it, his eyes brimming with emotion. But suddenly, sensing something amiss, his expression changed. He thought to himself, wait a minute, what's with this bubbly atmosphere? Back with Xiada, Viuli held a gun pointed directly at his head and yelled, let you taste the power of the Genesis device number 3. After firing at Xiada and seeing that his weapon had no effect, Viuli cried out in alarm. The Genesis device number 3 turned into a water gun. It was said that the energy released could restore anything in the game world to its original form and rewrite it. He stared down at his weapon, thinking, even though the real engine in the Genesis device number 3 plus, well, this is just a reloaded version, but it shouldn't have this little power. What's going on? Just then, the loud bang of fireworks in the sky behind him startled him. Viuli immediately turned his head and shouted, Genesis device number 3. He turned to see the source of his weapon's energy exploding, transforming into fireworks that slowly drifted down. Li's eyes widened in disbelief. Turned into fireworks? He stammered. At that moment, Xiada approached from behind him. His eyes darkened as he lightly patted Li's shoulder and addressed him. Hey, mister, he said, his voice laced with a hint of disdain. You can't just squirt someone with a water gun because a deal goes south. You're not a child. He thought to himself, irritated, scare me for a second there. Li turned, and together with Xiada, looked up at the fireworks in the sky. Xiada, standing beside him, continued, the aromatic division mobilized so many people, talking about letting me eat a cannonball. Turns out it was just celebratory fireworks, though admittedly quite spectacular. Looking at the scene before him, Li's expression was one of utter disbelief. He thought, celebratory fireworks? The most powerful weapon the system gave us. And he says it's quite spectacular. Doubting his own sanity, his face went blank. He stumbled towards Xiada, looking like a man who had lost his soul. Seeing this, Xiada reached out to support him. The unexpected action startled Li, sending a shiver down his spine. He slowly raised his head to look at Xiada. Xiada smiled, a chilling aura radiating from him as he looked at the man and spoke. My temper is generally pretty good, but jokes like that aren't funny. He continued to glare at the man, his voice laced with annoyance. I can see you're not entirely a bad guy. That's why I'm warning you. You're practically begging to be beaten up. If I weren't so lacking in power right now, I might have already fought you. What if you run into a hot-headed powerhouse next time? Did you hear me? Answer me. Li seemed unable to process anything, his face pale and frozen as he stared fearfully at Xiada. As soon as Xiada finished speaking, Li dropped to his knees before him. Yes, master. I understand. From a nearby building, Bao Bao watched Xiada's form and spoke. See? I told you. The Demon Lord didn't need us to rescue him. Belian, who had been prepared to fight to the death for the Demon Lord, sat beside Bao Bao, gazing at Xiada with utter admiration. I never expected the Demon Lord's actions to be so flawlessly executed. Acquiring the Spirit Princess, defeating humanity's upper echelon, destroying humanity's creator's weapon, crushing the enemies with a blend of grace and intimidation. They smiled proudly. Both were deeply satisfied with Xiada's performance. Simultaneously, the same thought echoed in their minds. Truly magnificent. Sensing something, Xiada instinctively glanced back, but the spot where Belian and Bao Bao had been was now empty. He continued to scan the area, trying to locate them. Perched atop Xiada's head, Hai Ni, puzzled, spoke up. Master, is something over there? Xiada glanced up at her. Just a trick of the light. Then he continued. All right, if the deal's off, I'm going home. Hai Ni, still perched on his head, exclaimed in surprise. I'm going home with you too. Xiada looked up. Well, you're bound to me now, so there's no helping it. Come on, let's go home. He then asked, I don't support freeloaders though. Do you have anything you can grow and sell every day? Hai Ni answered frankly, I don't think I have that kind of ability. Xiada continued. All right, then what kind of housework can you do? I wonder when this holiday will finally be over. He spoke as he slowly walked toward his home. In the distance, two cloaked men watched him. Though Xiada had walked some distance away, the remnants of his words still reached the two observing men. Otherwise, this safe zone won't be safe anymore. The deal won't be completed, and the house won't be worth anything. How will we live? The two men stared after him, speechless and stunned. Then, one of them turned to the other. Councilman Viuli, they're gone. Viuli remained kneeling on the ground, his eyes vacant and staring downwards. He continued to mutter apologies. I'm sorry. I won't do it again. His panicked state drew sighs of exasperation from the two men. He's completely lost it. We shouldn't have bothered. Back with Xiada, the aftermath of the live stream unfolded. He stood beside a brown-haired man, surrounded by celebratory confetti. The brown-haired man held Hai Ni in his hands, beaming. The spirit, obtained by the influential Councilman Viuli, and the mysterious seller, who had profited handsomely. Over on the NPC side, players watching the live stream were speculating that the true outcome was the corruption of the creator god number 3. He glanced at the person beside him and spoke. Machi, all ranks have found the remains. Machi smiled and replied, have them transport the creator god number 3's remains back. It's time to report the situation we're facing to the divine. However, Councilman Viuli, the supposed winning bidder, was unable to acquire the spirit. As the one primarily responsible, he was taken back to Skyless City to await trial. Humanity's first attack against the Demon Lord had ended in failure. The Demon Lord had secured a resounding victory. Turning back to Xiada, he looked at the paper with the housing prices in his hand. The contents of the paper made him cry out in alarm. Why haven't housing prices gone up? Babylon and Belian stood behind them, observing. Both smiled, then turned to face each other, each murmuring in astonishment. Well, there's nothing to be done. After all this chaos, many have fled the safe zone for whatever that place is called. It's completely become the Demon Lord's territory now. Aside from Xiada, there was another who wasn't pleased. Over on Dulan's side, he walked alone into a room. As he entered, he thought to himself, I was actually rescued by the Demon Lord's subordinate. The thought only fueled his rage. His face contorted, and his body trembled uncontrollably. Inside Dulan's room, he leaned against the door, a deeply troubled expression on his face, thinking, rescued by the Demon Lord's subordinate. subordinate. What an utter humiliation. But that wasn't the worst of it. The most humiliating thing was, he then recalled the scene of Bao Bao rescuing him and groaned in frustration. I can't stop remembering how it saved me with such flair. After a moment of brooding, Dulan suddenly widened his eyes and shouted, trying to snap himself out of it. Once he calmed down slightly, he hung his head, cold sweat dripping down his face. He muttered to himself, that's the demon lord's subordinate, the most evil being in the world. Remember all the evil it's done. The people of the safe zone, Kajama, survived this time because it saved them. But as he thought about Bao Bao, the cat, his eyes suddenly lit up and he murmured, could it be that it's actually a good, kind-hearted cat? Realizing his thoughts were spiraling, Dulan immediately turned and slammed his head against the wall, yelling, this isn't right. I'm humanity's hope, the one who will lead the human players to defeat the demon lord. I can't be seduced by the demon lord. Just then, an NPC approached from afar. Mr. Dulan, he said, there's a package for you. Hearing this, Dulan turned, breathing heavily, and looked at him. The sight of Dulan's bloodied face made the NPC freeze, a look of alarm spreading across his features. Dulan took the package, his eyes fixed on it with intense suspicion. Careless, he muttered. I almost succumbed. I can't relax for even a second while fighting the demon lord. He clenched his fist, and a surge of energy enveloped him. Dulan thought, fear not. Level 0 magic, level 9 protective barrier, full level 1 enhancement of all attributes. Magic resistance, maximized to the current level limit. But the moment he saw the letter attached to the gift box, surprise flooded his features, and he exclaimed, this is from the safe zone's residential area? Dulan carefully picked up the letter, unfolded it, and slowly began to read. Dulan, big brother, it began. You were the first person I met who helped me. I don't know how to thank you enough. A handmade gift, I hope you don't mind. Inside the box was an adorable handcrafted cat, nestled amongst a bed of brightly colored cotton balls. The sight of the gift filled Dulan with delight. His eyes sparkled as he whispered in admiration. So cute. Dulan leaned back against the door, his face flushed with a bashful warmth. He breathed heavily, a thought echoing in his mind. How can anyone resist this? Meanwhile, Xiada received a notification on his device. Seeing Dulan's reaction to his gift brought a smile to Xiada's face. Looks like Dulan has received my present, he thought to himself. He walked toward the bathroom, placing a towel on a rack. I left the towel here, he called out. From within the bathroom, Haine's voice responded, Mem, thank you. She relaxed in the large, hot tub, touched by Xiada's gesture. The demon lord is so warm and thoughtful, she mused. This demon lord is truly different. Such immense power, such noble character. Suddenly, her expression shifted, a realization dawning on her. The prophecy, it said humanity would be the ultimate victor. That can't be allowed to happen. Haine recalled the actions of the Hao Ran and spoke to herself. Rather than let the world fall into the hands of people like them. None of them are good. It would be better for the demon lord to rule the world. If it were him, perhaps he could truly change the future, abolish war. She continued her internal monologue. I'll use my spirit wisdom to help him achieve everything. We'll name our firstborn Peter and love Xia. Oh dear, is it alright to decide that on my own? Perhaps I should ask Lord Xiada first. Suddenly, a figure radiating a chilling aura appeared behind her. It was Belian. Her face darkened as she looked at Haine and spoke. Hey, newcomer. Belian's gaze, sharp with menace, pierced Haine. I suggest you don't overstep your boundaries, she warned. Haine's face paled under Belian's intimidating stare. But, she stammered. Before she could finish, Bao Bao appeared beside Haine, placing a hand on her shoulder. Bao Bao's expression was savage, bordering on feral. Learn some respect, she growled, or we won't be so polite next time. Haine's eyes darted nervously as the chilling words sunk in. What? Xiada's subordinates? She thought in a panic. The combined presence of the two, their unfriendly expressions and terrifying auras, weighed heavily on Haine. She glanced from one to the other, her thoughts racing. Looking closer, they're S-class greater demons. Their ranks exceed 3 digits. What's going on? They're different from the demon lord. They radiate such a dangerous aura. Could it be they intend to defy the demon lord? Are they preparing to torture me? To seize the legacy of the spirit folk, the stone of wisdom? But I've already decided to help the demon lord. The tighter their grip on my shoulders, the more terrified I become. My body trembles uncontrollably as I lament. I should have considered this sooner. Even if the demon lord is merciful, his subordinates are bloodthirsty demons. How could they possibly ignore the power of the spirit folk? Do you want to resist? Haine thought. Fighting back will surely displease the demon lord. But if I don't resist? Just then, Belian shattered her train of thought. Standing with arms crossed, she looked down at Haine with a furious glare. Don't you dare, unless the master allows it. You're not to do any housework, and don't even think about cutting off your horns to sell them. You're the mistress here. Beside her, Bao Bao, equally indignant, pointed at Haine and added, That's right. Don't think you're so great. Faced with her scolding, Haine didn't dare to resist, only trembling in fear, silently enduring their wrath. Sensing something amiss, Haine's fear abruptly vanished. She turned her head, glancing at them with a puzzled expression. What's going on? She asked. Meanwhile, she thought to herself, this is like dialogue from some third-rate manga. Belian, still with her arms crossed, continued her reproachful tirade. You should know that in pursuing the master, I've eaten rotten apples and been killed by those despicable humans. It wasn't easy getting back to his side. Bao Bao, standing beside her, puffed out his chest arrogantly. And noble beings like us have to play the role of pets. We have to pretend to be friendly with those selfish and wicked humans. Suddenly, Belian stood up straight, pointing at herself dramatically as she looked excitedly at Haine. Do you know how much we've sacrificed for the master? Do you know how difficult everything is? At her words, Bao Bao gasped in surprise. Huh? Belian suddenly clutched her face, blushing. For the sake of the great demon lord. Even that must be endured. Oh heavens! Haine and Bao Bao watched Belian's strange behavior with bewildered expressions, each thinking to themselves, that's hard to comment on. And why does she seem to be enjoying this? As if realizing something, Haine covered her mouth with her hand, her eyes wide with astonishment. Wait, I understand. I understand everything. Then, she slowly bowed her head, her body trembling. So that's how it is. I was thinking too simply. The path of peace that the demon lord has chosen. It's so arduous. To be friendly, but not subservient. To be considerate, but not abandon his own people. Running around in the enemy camp is so dangerous. Even greater demons of triple-digit rank have to exert themselves like this. And I was having such foolish thoughts. It's all thanks to the demon demon lord's incredible power and wisdom that I can relax. The matter of bearing children can wait. Seeing Hai Ni suddenly fall silent and motionless, Bao Bao and Bellion exchanged confused glances. Bao Bao frowned, looking at Bellion. Why isn't she saying anything? Bellion added, she's not even looking at us. Seeing Hai Ni still unresponsive, Bao Bao and Bellion grew furious. Simultaneously, they raised their hands and lunged towards her, ready to attack. As they advanced, Bao Bao roared, "Are you looking down on us, you wretch? Let's settle this with a fight." The moment the words left her mouth, Bellion lashed out, her hands sweeping outwards as she began to unleash her power. "I'll show you the difference in our strength." Her eyes slowly shifted to a vibrant pink, their sharp gaze fixed on Hai Ni. Bellion raised her fist, poised to strike, then without a moment's hesitation, swung at Hai Ni. But just as her fist was about to connect with Hai Ni's head, it stopped, suspended in midair. Before her, Hai Ni bowed her head low, a picture of sincere contrition. "I didn't understand. I apologize. Please, seniors, guide me." This unexpected display of humility stunned both Bellion and Bao Bao. They stared at Hai Ni, speechless for a moment. Did you just call me senior?" Bellion stammered. Bao Bao touched her face, a look of astonishment spreading across her features. Good heavens, she thought. I've never been called senior before. Bellion slowly lowered her gaze to Hai Ni. "Little sister," she began, her voice softening. "Tell me, what guidance do you seek?" Hai Ni, still bowed, spoke with a melancholic tone. "Although I was once a spirit princess, my kingdom has been destroyed. I am the last of my kind. I woke up alone in a strange place. I want to serve Lord Xiada, but I don't know how. Cutting horns, doing housework, all the things he mentioned. I don't know the customs, I don't understand the rules. Please, seniors, teach me. If I make mistakes and get cast out, I'll be all alone again." The sheer vulnerability in Hai Ni's eyes was almost too much for Bellion and Bao Bao to bear. They exchanged bewildered glances. "She's so pitiful," Bellion murmured, her previous anger completely dissipated. "It seems like we're the only ones who can help her." Bao Bao. Bao Bao tilted her head, a small smile playing on her lips. "I suppose you're right, Bellion." Bao Bao abruptly stood up, pointing at herself. "All right then, from now on, if you have any problems, just tell me. I'll protect you. My name is Bao Bao, level 101, and one of the 7 heavenly kings of the demon tribe. My special skill is transformation. I especially like to transform into something big, tough, and strong." Bellion smiled gently and also rose to her feet. "And I am Bellion," she introduced herself, with the unique ability of foresight. "I'm ranked first among the 7 heavenly kings. I was the first high-ranking demon to know of the demon lord's existence, appearance, and location. I'm also the only demon who has heard the prophecy." She gestured towards the door, where Bao Bao's familiar was peacefully sleeping in a tree. "That cat guarding the door is the future master of the demonic beasts. The link with the demon lord has already been established. The Nova System divine artifact has been destroyed by it." Bellion smiled at Hai Ni, propping her chin on her hand as she spoke. "But in accordance with the demon lord's wishes," Babylon, a level 1, chimed in from beside her, "we often disguise ourselves as pets. Infiltrating human society and dismantling it from within is the demon lord's plan. You just need to play the role assigned to you by the demon lord. The rest is up to circumstance. Don't worry, 3 cookies a day. The demon lord definitely doesn't mistreat us." After listening to their explanation, Hai Ni immediately grasped the situation. Clapping her hands together with a delighted expression, she exclaimed, "So that's how it is. Lord Xiada, calling me a doll, was for this reason. I understand now. I understand everything." Then, Hai Ni smiled at the two of them and continued, "Thank you both for explaining. If you don't mind, we'll be good sisters from now on. Level 1, of course." Having made her proposal, she extended her hand as a gesture of cooperation. Without hesitation, both Bellion and Bao Bao placed their hands atop Hai Ni's in agreement. One of them declared, "Good." Seeing their agreement, Hai Ni beamed with joy. "Let's all work together for our master's noble ambition." Meanwhile, she thought to herself, a world without war. Hai Ni's suggestion seemed to amuse Bellion. She touched her face delicately, looking at Hai Ni as she echoed, "Let's all work together for our master's noble ambition. To dismantle everyone completely. Demon rule over the world." Then, all 3 of them chanted in unison, "Peaceful coexistence." Outside, Bao Bao, who had woken up at some point, watched the 3 intently. Suddenly, a sly smile crept across his face as he thought to himself, "Well, the demon lord likes me best anyway." Hai Ni rested her chin on her hand, lost in thought. Recalling how the servants had attended to her in the past, she diligently continued to help Xiada with the housework. Holding Xiada's freshly laundered pants, Hai Ni declared happily, "All clean." Not only that, but she also prepared a hearty breakfast for him. Fresh breakfast every day. In the evening, Hai Ni meticulously made Xiada's bed and warmed it so he could have a most comfortable sleep. A warm bed ready for sleep. Furthermore, she was always attentive and caring towards him. Attentive and caring. Noticing a puddle of dirty water, she warned, "Master, be careful not to get your shoes wet." Hai Ni activated her level 3 plant growth skill. Hai Ni received the B rank title, Feudal Patriarch. Xiada was extremely pleased with Hai Ni's attentiveness. Xiada feels very satisfied. The scene shifted outside. From inside a red car, a voice echoed. The demon lord seemed to be waiting to die, but in reality, he had gathered such a powerful strategy. This is what we know so far about the demon lord's chief subordinates. The NPC muttered, clutching a clipboard filled with profiles of the demonic hierarchy. His eyes scanned the information, lingering on the entry for Babylon. The only demon in the known records to surpass level 100. Possesses overwhelmingly powerful AoE capabilities, capable of leveling a city with a single attack. A legendary creature thought extinct, resurrected by the demon lord, and now his personal weapon. He continued, his voice taking on a grim tone. Bellion, spreading false prophecies, claiming humanity's inevitable defeat at the hands of the demon tribe, sowing fear and panic. 2 malignant growths on his chest possess hypnotic powers, capable of enthralling any creature with a magic resistance below D. And Bao Bao, the boss of the purifying apartment complex dungeon, whose combat prowess far surpasses his rank. Unfathomable depths. After a moment of contemplation, comparing the profiles on the clipboard, the NPC exclaimed in astonishment, I made a discovery." Noticing his expression, his colleague spoke up. "What is it? What have you found?" "Look." The NPC thrust Bao Bao's profile forward, showering it with praise. "Bao Bao is still the cutest. My vote goes to Bao Bao." His colleague shot him an irritated look. "Get serious. This isn't a joke." He sighed sighed, then continued, I'll say it again. Bellion appeared first and has the most screen time. He's also humanoid. Logically, he has to be more powerful than Bao Bao, right? The NPC, clearly annoyed, snapped back. Is that really the point? A third NPC, observing the exchange, chuckled and wagged a finger. Actually, he interjected, the newly arrived spirit princess shouldn't be underestimated either. Since the demon lord got her, he's been in a noticeably better mood. He doesn't even seem intent on world destruction anymore, at least for now. His words clearly irked the second NPC, and the two immediately began to bicker, their argument escalating rapidly. You think this is all a coincidence? You have a point. I see. Their argument caused the vehicle they were in to swerve erratically, losing all sense of direction. After the argument subsided, the second NPC, still clutching the profiles, turned to his colleague. There's something I still don't understand, he confessed. I heard that even the mutants have become more active since the spirit princess arrived. Her level is only in the double digits, while the demon lord's is in the quadruple digits. Why does the grand leader believe that with her, we have the power to defeat the demon lord? What exactly is this earth-shattering power of the spirit folk everyone keeps talking about? He pressed. The third NPC leaned against the window, gazing at the passing scenery. That's not information our rank has access to, he replied cryptically. To himself, he thought, even the mutants are affected? The spirit folk's power, it's drawing all races in. As they continued on their way, the two NPCs kept discussing the matter. Well, it doesn't concern us. We just need to do our job, which is to monitor the demon lord while he's grocery shopping. We stay here, wait for him to come out, see if he needs a ride, and then take him home. Meanwhile, inside the supermarket, Seada gazed at the bags of flour on display, a delighted expression on his face. What a great sale, he exclaimed. Ever since Heine arrived, we've been going through cookies much faster. I definitely need to restock. He looked back and forth between two different brands, a flicker of indecision in his eyes. He reached for the brand he usually bought. Same as always then. Suddenly, Heine's voice came from behind him. Actually, Master Seada, I'm fine with any kind of cookie. Seada froze, stunned. She looked at him with such pity in her eyes. There would be no one. Then, dejected, she sat far away, a picture of forlorn resignation. With a sigh of acceptance, she muttered to herself, eating alone again. Heine seemed utterly lonely and lost in thought. Seeing her like this, Seada decided against buying the flour to make her a cake. He placed the bag back on the shelf and said, forget it. Seeing him put the flour back, Heine looked at him quizzically and asked, we're not buying the flour, master? Seada replied, no, let's go buy some other daily necessities. As he walked away, a puzzled expression crossed her face, her gaze following him. And finally, they arrived at a pet store. There, Seada bought 2 cat beds for 50 gold and 30 silver pieces, a brand new blanket for 50 gold and 40 silver pieces, and a new bed for 6 gold and 20 silver pieces. After a while, Seada looked at Heine trailing behind him and said, I'm going to pay. She replied cheerfully, yes, master. He then proceeded to the checkout counter, while Heine waited outside. She rested her chin in her hand, a perplexed expression on her face as she recalled the items Seada had purchased, 2 cat beds and a bed. Meanwhile, back at the house, Bellion and Bao Bao were suddenly gripped by a sense of foreboding. What's wrong? One asked. I have a bad feeling, the other replied. Seada, carrying 2 shopping bags, walked out and called to Heine, let's go home. Just then, not far away, a scuffle broke out. A man yelled, you old hag, give it back. He angrily snatched a bag, knocking the elderly woman to the ground. You wouldn't take it the easy way, so now you get it the hard way. An accomplice behind him, having retrieved the item, urgently ordered, we got it, let's go. After they left, food lay scattered on the ground. The old woman shakily got to her feet, whimpering. A strange exclamation mark hovered above her head. Seada approached her and asked kindly, ma'am, are you all right? The old woman didn't respond. He then began picking up the scattered food. After a moment, she sadly explained, that was my eldest son. This isn't the first time he's done this. Seada led her to a nearby bench and listened as she recounted the incident, asking, did he steal your money? Her voice filled with weariness. She replied, he said he needed money to increase his combat power, or he wouldn't survive. There's nothing I can do. The old woman, who possessed the basic tailor production skill, earned a small income by making linen backpacks. Her brow furrowed as she continued, he always takes my food money, and he even resorts to violence. It truly breaks my heart. But then, her sadness turned to anger. The worst part is what he did to Little White, who always protects me. He did this to Little White out of spite. He looked at the bundle of fur in her arms, puzzled. Little White. Then, she revealed a small dog whose head was covered in a red substance. He smeared him with chili sauce like this. Looking at the dog with its innocent eyes and white fur, Heine and Seada's eyes lit up at the adorable sight. Suddenly, a notification popped up, catching Seada's attention. The system window displayed, daily quest, wash Little White. Reward, 200 experience points. Seada stared intently at the quest, thinking to himself, a daily quest. In other words, this old woman has to go through this every day. Remembering how the dog had protected her, she explained, Little White knows who's kind to him, so he always tries to protect me. But it's so small and weak, and not very smart, Seada murmured, stroking the dog sympathetically. Poor thing, let's give a bath. And so, Seada accepted the daily quest, bathe Little White. Upon completion, the reward, no experience points. Heine, standing behind him, smiled and offered, leave it to me, master. He replied with a satisfied hum. All right, I'll leave it to you then. Heine cheerfully responded, yes, master. The old woman and the dog immediately shot them, both a scrutinizing look. Moments later, Heine led Little White into the bathroom to bathe him. The stream of water, cascading over the small dog, left him looking utterly drenched and miserable. Inside the bathroom, it was just Heine and the little canine. Outside, the old woman began reminiscing about her younger days, mentioning how she used to play with the boy's father in the same way. Seada, not quite understanding, asked play. The woman, launching into a wistful, worldly wise mode, glanced at him with a coy look and continued. Well, he used to call me master. Seada choked, realizing there was a misunderstanding. Seeing his lack of response, the woman changed the subject. So, that little girl is a spirit, right? She inquired. Seada was a little surprised by the question, but answered, yes, a spirit, although just a life-size souvenir one. He then turned to her, curious. How did you know? The old woman promptly replied, everyone saw the live stream of the spirit auction. Even though we don't know exactly who you are, everyone recognizes her. A mysterious internet celebrity, Seada muttered, forcing a laugh. How quaint. Then, with a touch of astonishment, she added, but I can't believe you just walk around with such a valuable spirit. Seada was taken aback. What do you mean? The old woman, seeing his confusion, gave him a flat look, probably thinking, is this guy playing dumb, or is he actually dumb? But then her expression softened, and she said gently, young man, I see you have a kind heart and clear eyes, so I'm telling you this. That little spirit is something countless people are watching. One careless moment, and someone will try to steal her. As her voice drifted from outside, inside the bathroom, a large hand with sharp claws seized High Knee's wrist. A massive wolf with blazing golden eyes, licking the head of a snow-white creature, spoke. Finally found you, spirit. The fierce-faced wolf, Han Lang, introduced himself. I'm a subordinate of Lord Fandijire, Han Lang the mutant, here on orders to retrieve the spirit. He let out a triumphant chuckle. Found you without any trouble at all. I heard the security system of the safe zone was all bark and no bite. Seems they were right. High Knee, not showing any fear, but rather a hint of confusion, asked, Fandijire? Unless a wolf-type mutant. Han Lang narrowed his eyes, impressed. As expected of a spirit, your intelligence is truly remarkable. He then launched into a lengthy explanation about his master. But Lord Fandijire is different from ordinary mutants. We call him the King of Talents. His pre-awakening potential was unprecedented. Give him time, and he will become a being that surpasses both demons and humans. He will stand at the top of the world. Meanwhile, a furry figure sat before a television screen. This was Fandijire, level unknown. His eyes glowed brightly in the dim light. Watching the live stream of High Knee on the screen, along with a stream of astonished comments, he gave the order, capture her. Han Lang, hearing the command, smirked. And so, I came here on his orders. With the power and intelligence of the spirit, the rise of us mutants will be unstoppable. High Knee remained calm and spoke. If you're live streaming this, you should know I already have a master. Han Lang, gripping High Knee's arm tightly, sneered. Did your master say you were a weak, scrawny newbie, or that wrinkled old geezer? High Knee's face darkened at his words. Insolent cur, she commanded. You have one chance. Retract your statement, and I will let it slide. Han Lang stuck out his tongue mockingly. You think you're in a position to bargain with me? He brought a finger close to High Knee's face. Your expression shows displeasure, yet you don't struggle against my grasp. You think I don't know why? His eyes widened, a cruel smile twisting his lips. That's right. I can track you with my earth-digging sense of smell. My superior olfactory senses can detect. He paused, his next words laced with a chilling amusement that made High Knee's face fall. The truth is, your rank is quite low, isn't it? That's why you don't have the strength to break free. Back with Xiada, ellipses practically danced around his head as he paced. He'd encountered an entity that many feared. A moment later, he brightened, counting on his fingers with a delighted air. So, it was actually worth it. The elderly woman beside him chimed in. Indeed, so you must protect it well. A sudden realization struck Xiada. Speaking of which, she's been in there washing for quite a while. It's a bit worrying. He hesitated, his gaze flickering towards the bathroom. Should I go check on her? But seeing the symbol on the door, he muttered, I can't just walk into the women's restroom. He decided to wait a little longer. Inside, Han Lang's voice dripped with false sweetness. Come quietly with me to Lord Fandijire. You won't regret it. High Knee frowned, remaining silent. Suddenly, Little White, the small dog, lunged forward, sinking his teeth into Han Lang's hand. He looked down at his hand in surprise and anger. What the? He glared at the tiny dog with contempt. A pathetic runt, a discarded product, unable to evolve into a mutant, huh? High Knee stared at the dog in astonishment, a thought dawning on her. Is he trying to protect me? Han Lang grabbed the dog's head roughly. You're looking for death. He hurled the small creature against the wall. Little White yelped in pain. High Knee gasped, watching him fly through the air. Han Lang, his face twisted in a sneer, reached for her again. If you don't want to suffer needlessly, come quietly, spirit. But High Knee, now fully enraged, spoke in a chillingly calm voice. First offense, making arrogant remarks about the demon lord's appearance and demeanor. Utterly disrespectful. A murderous glint entered her eyes. Second offense, despite the fall of my kingdom, I am still the spirit princess. Defying my will is an act of treason. Han Lang, still oblivious to the danger, scoffed. What are you babbling about? Power surged through High Knee. Years ago, to prevent others from exploiting our power, we chose to seal ourselves away. But do you know what it means when they say spirit power can shatter the balance of the world? Han Lang, finally beginning to sweat, stammered, what? Little White's body began to glow with High Knee's green energy. His legs trembled as he struggled to stand, and then his eyes sharpened with intelligence, causing Han Lang to cry out in shock. That dog, it's still alive. Compared to the other two, Little White's form was incredibly small, and he let out a soft whimper. Han Lang sneered. Just a bluff, or some kind of resurrection trick. Then, seeing the dog's level, he gaped. Its level, it's jumped to 75, the same as mine. He retrieved the jade, and with a smug grin, continued. So that's how it is. This is the power of spirit. No wonder so many factions crave you. To be able to instantly raise someone else's rank. Truly astonishing. But before Han Lang could finish, Little White suddenly lunged at him. Han Lang braced himself, roaring, my rank, combat experience, and physique give me the absolute advantage. Yet, in the next instant, as if he'd forgotten to properly tighten his head that morning, Little White simply clamped its jaws around Han Lang's head, neatly separating it from his neck. Han Lang let out a bewildered yelp. He stared at the notification that appeared, asking, what is this? My rank. It's dropped to level 1. High Knee activated her S-rank skill, energy manipulation. The flowing wisdom of a spirit grants deep understanding of the world's energy flow. Swap rank. Exchanges the level, attributes, and status of 2 targets. Can be reused to dispel. Only one energy manipulation can exist in the world at any given time. Realization dawned on Han Lang. So it doesn't raise the target's rank? Before being forcibly logged out, he roared, it swaps them. A tremendous crash shattered the ground. Before a phone screen displaying investment options. A man sat comfortably in his car when a massive explosion ripped through a nearby high-rise. 2 men scrambled out of the vehicle, one asking, what happened? It's over by the supermarket. The other man, running after him, shouted, could it be related to the Demon King? Hurry, let's go. As they ran, they continued their frantic exchange. What are we doing? Going to fight the Demon King. Idiot. Of course we're going to protect him. We absolutely cannot allow anyone to disturb his leisurely supermarket stroll. Nearing the supermarket, one of them called out, it's here. 4th floor. Through the dissipating smoke, they spotted someone and exclaimed, it's... A moment later, High Knee's face came into view, leaving them stunned. It's the spirit. With a hint of annoyance in her voice, she muttered, oh, for crying out loud. Little White was now ferociously tearing at Han Lang's remains. Despite the blood smeared smeared across its face. The little dog still looked utterly adorable. Heine sighed softly. Looks like another bath is in order. She gazed affectionately at Little White. But I can't let Master know. I couldn't even handle a simple task like this. You'll keep my secret, won't you? Han Lang, now reduced to a pathetic mess in the corner, suddenly caught her eye. Down below, she saw two figures. Looking at their bewildered faces, she thought to herself, humans from Chung Tian. They didn't come to fight the mutant, did they? The problem's already solved, but they're too late. They're always like this, stirring up conflict everywhere, yet unable to protect their own territory. Her eyes darkened with the thought. This world truly needs the Demon King's salvation. Despite being the Demon King, Xiada was acting rather foolishly, pacing back and forth anxiously outside the women's restroom. The reason for his odd behavior? He was worried about the person inside. I heard noise just now. Is everything all right in there? However, his presence was causing a misunderstanding amongst the women inside. Look at him. He looks familiar. Isn't he a pervert? Hearing their whispers, he didn't know how to explain himself. I haven't even done anything, and I'm already being misunderstood. Meanwhile, on the other side of the door, a scene of utter devastation unfolded. Heine walked towards a gaping hole in the wall. She then scooped up Little White and leaped gracefully to the ground. Heine landed as lightly as a feather, two NPCs already positioned before her. Heine's breathtaking beauty seemed to momentarily captivate them. She was even more stunning up close. With a pageant-perfect smile and a voice as clear as a chime, she playfully chided, "If you're here about the mutant, you're a little late." Truly, men are easily swayed by beauty. A few words from her, and they were startled, snapping to attention and saluting respectfully. "Our deepest apologies. May we inquire if the Demon Lord has suffered any harm?" At their words, Heine paused. They addressed her master as the Demon Lord too? Could they be like her? Could they share her hope for a peaceful world under her master's rule? But then, the dark memories of the past washed over her. Bella and Babylon's words echoed in her mind. Do you know what the Demon Lord's plan is? It's to dismantle humanity from within. After a moment of reflection, enlightenment dawned on Heine. Understand, she murmured. The NPCs before her were suddenly transformed in her eyes, from potential enemies to allies. They were kindred spirits, rushing to protect the Demon Lord. Such dedication to protecting someone so seemingly vulnerable. Her demeanor shifted dramatically. As expected of the Demon Lord, his reputation precedes him. Truly magnificent. Despite her praise, a wave of anxiety washed over her. But if that was the case, when it came to flipping sides, even a thin crepe couldn't match Heine's speed. Her expression darkened. The mutant incident in the safe zone, don't let it happen again. The two NPCs visibly cowered. The air grew heavy, threatening to suffocate them. Heine offered another gentle, flower-like smile, but her words were laced with a chilling edge. Your duty is to protect the lives of the people here, to ensure their safety, isn't it? No matter how weak you are, you should be able to accomplish such a simple task, shouldn't you? Heine had transformed into a terrifying, demonic figure. Do you intend to rely on luck every time? The truth is, I just happened to be passing by, which is why no one was hurt. Understand? Don't let it happen a second time. The safety of the zone rests entirely on your shoulders. I will crush you like ants. If you don't want to die, then strive to do better. Terrified into silence, the NPCs immediately prostrated themselves before her. We apologize. We know our mistake. Heine was taken aback by their abject display of submission. Are they bowing to me? They revere the Demon Lord this much. Having convinced herself of their devotion, Heine seemed to transform into a benevolent goddess, radiating divine light. Good, you understand. Rise. Despite her previous threats, she still had a favor to ask. Now, about something else. Heine presented Little White, covered in blood, to the NPCs. Could I trouble you to look after him? Meanwhile, Xiada was still lingering near the women's restroom, hesitant to leave. As he approached the door, it suddenly swung open. Seeing her emerge, Xiada felt a wave of relief wash over him. "Hingi, you finally came out," he exclaimed, immediately asking, "Are you done?" But surprise turned to a 5-second stunned silence as Xia noticed the NPCs, dressed as janitors, polishing the floor to a mirror sheen. A flicker of suspicion ignited within him. Was this really just a burst pipe? He wondered aloud. Heine, noticing his bewildered expression, didn't hesitate to confirm his doubts. It did waste quite a bit of water, she admitted. With their task complete, she offered her gratitude to the two NPCs. "Thank you both for your hard work," she said. The NPCs, not daring to contradict her, simply replied, "It was our duty." Xiada, slightly miffed that Heine hadn't sought his help at the restroom incident, chided her gently. "Next time, let me know sooner. I would have helped." Heine, beaming, responded, "My apologies." After sending Little White off for a pampering spa treatment, Xiada returned the now pristine pup to the elderly woman. "Mission accomplished. You look much better after your bath, little one," he cooed. To his surprise, the woman offered him a small gift in return. "You mentioned you were having trouble gaining experience. Take this as a token of my thanks." "It's nothing much, really." Taking the glowing slip of paper from her hand, Xiada looked at it quizzically. "What is this?" he asked. "It's a skill acquisition chance," the woman explained. "The probability ranges from a very rare 0.2% to a more common 42.1%. After scanning the information, a dark thought crossed Xiada's mind. A lottery? Seriously? And with such low odds, it even looks like that. Despite his inner reservations, he accepted the gift graciously. "Well, whatever I get, I guess it's down to luck," he said. "Then I'm in trouble," he muttered under his breath. "I'm notoriously unlucky." Eager to see what fate had in store, he immediately tore open the blink box, hoping for something spectacular. A notification popped up. Xiada had received the skill, Basic Water Purification Alchemy. Though inwardly drowning in a sea of disappointment, he forced a smile. "See? I told you I was useless." To break the awkward silence, Heine chimed in cheerfully. "But master, it's not about the reward. The greatest reward is the joy of helping others." The elderly woman, touched by her words, beamed. "Oh, you two are so kind." Amidst the desolate shopping center, an idea sparked in Xiada's mind. "Well, despite everything, today was fun. How about we go to the supermarket together next time?" Heine readily agreed. "Yes, master." The supermarket, however, if it could speak, would likely have protested vehemently. "Great, just great," it might have groaned. "Don't come back." Thanks to the earlier chaos, the supermarket was now a desolate ruin. Miraculously, the university campus remained unscathed, protected by the Demon King and his subordinates. The safe zone lived up to its name. As night fell, casting long shadows across the city, and the only light emanated from the remaining buildings. The elderly woman settled into bed, ready for a good night's sleep. Another day, she sighed contentedly, maintaining her optimism despite the turbulent world outside. It's tough, but it's the life of a low-level NPC. Overcome with a pang of guilt, the elderly woman turned to Little White. I'm so sorry I couldn't protect you, she said, and that you had to endure such a horrible experience. Just then, her good-for-nothing son barged in, kicking the door open. Did you make much money today, old woman? He demanded. She thought to herself, with a son this disrespectful, I might as well have hatched a ballot and eaten it. He showed no shame as he continued. I'm going drinking with my friends. Give me tomorrow's allowance now. But when he glanced down and saw Little White, a flicker of surprise crossed his face. A sinister grin spread across his lips. Back for more, are you? He taunted. So many times, and you still haven't learned your lesson, you stupid mutt. Shut up, you slimy creep, Little White retorted. Unable to bear the insults, Little White lunged forward like a furry projectile. Meanwhile, Xiada was in the restroom, attending to nature's call. Surprise! News of his being bitten by Little White had already made the headlines. Serves him right, he thought with grim satisfaction. From within a restroom, Xiada called out, What did you say? A variant appeared in the safe zone. An NPC outside relayed the situation. The artificial barrier has been reinforced. Even if the Demon Lord's suppression field fails, no mutants will be able to penetrate it. But that kind of mutant appeared near the Demon Lord. If the Demon Lord is angered, it could lead to the end of the world. Xiada, stunned by this news, blurted out what? He sat in the quiet of the restroom, pondering the implications. Mutants are influenced by the Demon Lord and evolve from animals and plants. They can't escape their animalistic nature and are driven by instinct. Even a level 84 mutant lizard that attacked the safe zone before had fighting power but no higher level thinking. So even if it's stronger, it's limited. His face tightened. A mutant that can dig such a long tunnel and appear right near the Demon Lord, as if it has higher intelligence. What a coincidence. 7,749 questions swirling in his mind. Xiada asked, Where's Doolander? The NPC replied, Lord Doolander is on leave. Xiada formed a theory. I see. It seems the last incident really shook him up. He won't be of any help for now. After a moment of intense thought, he pushed open the restroom door. I'll go then. The curious NPC asked, What are you going to do, sir? Xiada didn't bother hiding his intentions. I'm going to meet the god who created this world. I'm going to meet who? The NPC thought, bewildered. The divine weapon, Demon Slayer, like Boss Stole, is a system-level weapon bestowed upon us by Lord Tamix to fight against the demon race. And the mysterious person wearing the white mask is none other than the creator god, Mother. Xiada and the NPC stood before the ravaged remains of the system. It's been completely destroyed. Witnessing the devastation, Xiada was at a loss for what to do. Counselor Julie has been punished, but what should we do next? Considering High Knee's overwhelming power, Xiada felt a sense of futility. The Demon Lord has such crushing strength. We can't possibly win. Overhearing their heated discussion, another player, Twofer, chimed in. As a spiritual player, he offered optimistic reassurance. Don't worry. With sincere hearts and united spirits, we will surely prevail. With unwavering faith in Twofer, he stood before the colossal statue, expressing his utmost reverence. The Lord Mother absolutely wouldn't deceive us, right? After much deliberation, Twofer finally reached a decision. No matter what, he needed to inform the Lord Mother that the number 3 demonic artifact had been destroyed. Every single action they took relied on the Lord Mother's guidance, as she seemed the most reliable authority at this point. She would show them the next step. Having settled on this course of action, Twofer immediately retrieved his tools and prepared them. He held a golden chalice in his hand and began chanting an incantation, weaving a spell. Then Twofer grasped a wooden staff, holding it straight out in front of him. In the next moment, he donned a mask, preparing for the next stage of the ritual. Finally, with all preparations complete, Twofer used his magic to levitate both the chalice and the staff high into the air. 3 days later, after countless elaborate gestures and incantations, an unnerving silence still permeated the air. Nothing had happened. Despite waiting what felt like an eternity, Twofer received absolutely nothing in return. He stood frozen, dumbfounded for a full 5 seconds. The Lord Mother had offered no response. Being so utterly ignored left him bewildered. How could this be? Suddenly, a realization dawned on Twofer. Could the Demon King's power be so immense that even the Lord Mother was affected? The thought resonated within him, a chilling possibility. Oblivious to the struggles his followers faced against their 7,749 tribulations, the Lord Mother, also known as Mother, had just woken from a deep, peaceful sleep. Damn it, she muttered. I accidentally overslept. Having been offline for so long, she was greeted with a notification of 10 missed calls. This is just awful, she sighed. So many missed calls. Naturally, the first thing Mother did upon waking was contact Twofer. The Lord Mother has manifested. She has answered us. It's the Lord Mother. The news spread like wildfire. They had thought themselves on the precipice of despair, doomed to the abyss, but now they stood at the gates of paradise. The Lord Mother had awakened to aid them. It's wonderful. She hasn't abandoned us. After a period of silence, the Lord Mother finally spoke. My children, she addressed them, you have suffered greatly. I never imagined that the number 3 demonic artifact would be no match for such a foe. Twofer, his previous frustration forgotten, now overflowed with admiration for the Lord Mother. Oh, benevolent Lord Mother, you truly know everything. You're always watching over us. I'm so moved. However, inwardly, the Lord Mother silently refuted this praise. It's not like I'm always watching. She trailed off, her gaze falling upon the ravaged remains of the system displayed behind Twofer. Isn't that the wreckage of the system behind you? I saw it at a glance. Reunited with the Lord Mother, Twofer had much to report and wasted no time getting to the point. As you said, the worlds have merged and the players have descended. But life, as they say, is full of surprises, and Twofer had a particularly unexpected story to share. He produced a book, its cover bearing an image of Xiada, but in the form of the Demon King. We have recorded all that has transpired within these pages, he declared. Before Mother could even fully process the information Twofer presented, she reacted with an almost childlike glee, a thrill of anticipation lighting up her features. Is this the report on the battle between you and the demon race? Oh, this is going to be good. This represents the blood, sweat, and tears of my followers, so I simply must see it. Let me witness your valiant struggle against the demonic horde. But whatever emotions stirred within Mother as she perused the report, they quickly turned to something becoming cold and dismissive. Without a word, she abruptly tossed the book to the ground, the impact echoing in the silent chamber. Expecting a tale of heroic clashes and epic battles, Mother had instead found herself wading through romantic drivel. A wave of irritation washed over her. "I sent you to fight him, not to flirt with him," she snapped, her voice laced with displeasure. Faced with her accusation, Twofer stammered out an explanation. But if we had fought him with our current strength, it would have been suicide. You said the Demon King would be in a nascent state. Clearly, that wasn't the case. Mother's anger only intensified. "What? Are you blaming me now?" Twofer, sensing the dangerous turn the conversation was taking, quickly backpedaled. No, of course not. We just felt that if your prophecy had been a little more accurate, we wouldn't be in this predicament. Mother, still simmering, pressed the point. Even if I had told you the Demon King was at a 4-digit power level, could you have defeated him? Unwilling to back down completely, Twofer retorted, "Well, not necessarily. Because of the faulty information, Lord Dulander nearly." Mother cut him off, exasperated. "Talking to you lot is giving me a headache," she groaned. "Don't tell me you're still blaming me." Twofer, recognizing the need for damage control, bowed low. "Forgive me, my lord. Your wisdom is eternal, and we were wrong." Mother, slightly mollified, crossed one leg over the other. "Very well," she conceded. "I suppose blaming me out of concern is forgivable." Despite the outward show of deference, Twofer couldn't help but feel a surge of annoyance. Mother fell silent, lost in thought. Even so, she mused, he shouldn't be this powerful so soon. Even the divine weapon, the Demon King's pseudo-artifact I created, should have been able to defeat him easily. Xiada's hidden potential is what truly worries me, she continued, her voice laced with a hint of unease. To a certain extent, his power is unexpected. In this situation, there are only two options. Two distinct paths began to form in Mother's mind. Wait for the players to grow stronger, or a bold, almost reckless thought crossed her mind. Descend myself and kill him personally. But the idea of personally eliminating Xiada was as quickly dismissed as it had appeared. Just grandstanding, she muttered, just thinking out loud. But in the next instant, a surge of power erupted from the statue, accompanied by crackling arcs of lightning. Both Twofer and Counselor Julie, startled by the sudden display, watched with wide eyes, barely daring to breathe. This is our Lord's power, the power of descent. Our Lord is performing a miracle. The dormant machine before them roared back to life, pulsating with a cosmic energy that defied human comprehension, bathing the chamber in an ethereal glow. Mother's awakening had breathed life back into the system, restoring its functionality. "Repair divine weapon number 3 immediately," she commanded. Twofer, awestruck, could only stammer, "Incredible, truly incredible. Our Lord, so powerful." Twofer and Uchi stood before the colossal system, a surge of pride welling within them at Moses' masterful restoration. Meanwhile, Twofer's hands hovered over the pink keyboard. Julie was history now, and humanity needed a new fighting force, a new power to protect its evolved players. Suddenly, a pistol materialized in midair before Uchi. Without preamble, the Lord Mother's voice resonated, declaring her intent. "New wielder of the demonic weapon number 3, you have been chosen. Take this weapon and continue the fight for humanity." Machi, hearing this, froze, stunned into absolute stillness by the weight of such an enormous responsibility. New wielder? Me? The Lord Mother then explained her reasoning to the bewildered Machi. "I see the ambition and courage within you to ascend." Little did she know, Machi's motivation stemmed solely from a desperate desire to avoid a gruesome demise. "My lord," he stammered. Overwhelmed by the gravity of the situation, Machi voiced his concerns. "Even if the divine weapon number 3 is repaired, I doubt it can stand against." But before he could finish, the Lord Mother interrupted with a chillingly casual reassurance. "Don't worry, if you die, you'll go to heaven." Machi, beads of sweat trickling down his face, stood frozen for a full 5 seconds. Heaven. Twofer, observing the scene, couldn't help but feel a pang of envy. How lucky, he thought, a chance to go to heaven, just like that. Sensing Twofer's apparent interest, Machi offered, "Want me to give it to you?" But Twofer quickly declined. "No thanks." Seeing their reluctance, the Lord Mother sought to reassure them. "Don't worry, for hundreds of thousands of years, humanity has swept across hundreds of races in this world and has never been defeated. This time will be no different." Inwardly, Machi began to pray, offering up the most sincere pleas he could muster. "Please, let me live to see that day." While Twofer remained oblivious to Machi's internal turmoil, Machi continued his fervent prayers for survival. Even divine intervention couldn't fully quell the tremors of fear that coursed through him. Having settled the matter of the weapon, the Lord Mother seemed to relax slightly. "All right, with this taken care of, we just need to ensure the development of Jordander and the future players. There's nothing to worry about." The Lord Mother's faith in Jordander was absolute, whether it's by divine right or sheer belief. That child is 1 in a million. And indeed, Jordander, seemingly born under a lucky star, had consistently lived up to the expectations placed upon him. Chosen as humanity's beacon of hope, he displayed remarkable resilience and excellence. Jordander trained relentlessly, pushing himself to his limits to enhance his power. No matter how formidable the opponent, he never gave up, always seeking a way to overcome them. If it's him, the Lord Mother mused, even if the Demon Lord is terrifying, he will fight to the very last moment. After all, he is the hope of humanity. No matter what, he will not be destroyed. After praising Jordander to the high heavens, Machi added another request. "One more thing. Summon Lord Jordander's father, General Gali, back here." Seeing Machi's insistence, Twofer expressed concern. "The number 1 demonic gladiator, General Gali, he's holding the front lines against the demons. Just how serious has the situation become?" This only fueled Machi's fervor. "He must be brought back. We can't just stand by and watch the hope of humanity fall from grace." Gali stood vigilant on the defensive line, having recently quelled numerous threats. Suddenly, an NPC rushed to his side. "Counselor Gali, a divine decree from the Lord Mother. She says there's been a grave incident and summons you back to Skirich immediately." The messenger delivered the news with urgent brevity. Gali, his face grim, stood by the cliff edge, contemplating. A moment of silence passed. "I understand," he finally said, a knowing glint in his eyes. "Consider yourselves fortunate. You wretched demons, just wait until Gali returns. I, Gali of the Gali clan, will hunt you down to the last one." Gali, one of the 12 counselors and among the most powerful figures in Skirich, seethed with righteous fury. Unlike the other counselors, Ghali's position was hereditary. The Ghali clan had been at the forefront of the war against the demons since the founding of Skirich. The current head, General Ghali, was an unparalleled war god, wielding the divine weapon, demonic gladiator number 1, bestowed upon him by the god Mosier 11. He had battled the demonic armies 49 times without a single defeat. Mountains of demonic corpses lay testament to his brutal efficiency. His ruthless tactics, coupled with his unwavering calm and cold logic, earned him the moniker, the Iron-Blooded Gladiator. Upon arriving at Skirich, Ghali, unable to contain his curiosity, addressed Tu-Fur. Lord Mother, why have you pulled me away from the front lines, interrupting my confrontation with the demonic army? What is so urgent? The NPC, seeing no reason to prevaricate, answered frankly, it concerns Jordander. Hearing that the matter involved his son, Ghali's demeanor shifted. To confirm what he had heard, he asked again, Jordander. A surge of paternal emotion welled up within him. Jordander is my only son, the heir to the Ghali clan. He was the first to arrive on Earth and guide the players in battle. Ghali's pride in his son was evident. Despite my reputation as the iron-blooded gladiator on the battlefield, as a father, I have never been absent from my son's life. I am well aware of his excellence. He is the most hardworking and outstanding individual in Skirich. He firmly believed that his son was a shining star destined to lead humanity out of the darkness of the demonic threat, the hope of humanity chosen by the Lord Mother, the chosen one who would lead them to ultimate victory. He has never disappointed me. He is the heir I'm most proud of. Because of this unwavering faith, the news of Jordander's apparent trouble struck him with unexpected force. Entering the designated chamber, he inquired about Jordander's progress. Tell me, what remarkable achievements has Jordander accomplished since arriving on Earth? But to his utter astonishment, the chamber was deserted, empty as a drum. General Ghali's eyes darted around, his face stiffening in bewildered disbelief. Lost in this surreal scene, he turned sharply to Tu-Fur, demanding, where are the Leaf family heirlooms, the treasures passed down through generations? Tu-Fur froze, momentarily speechless, unsure how to explain without incurring the general's wrath. Realizing the futility of concealment, he carefully detailed the events that had transpired at Skirich while the general was battling the demons on the front lines, focusing on Jordander's actions. General Ghali's face darkened as understanding dawned. So, he growled, Jordander has gifted everything he could to the Demon King, and whatever he couldn't give, he's used to hunt monsters, all to find the Demon King a spirit companion, and instead of finishing off that whelp, Heya, to save humanity, he helped him. This is infuriating. Struggling to process this mind-blowing revelation, General Ghali fought to maintain his composure. On the battlefield, he muttered, they call me the Iron Blood General. Even facing 30,000 enemies, I never flinched. He tried to empathize with Jordander, searching for a reason behind his son's baffling actions. I must see this from my son's perspective, he concluded. Though unaware of the trials Jordander had endured, General Ghali remained resolute in his belief in his son. He must have a reason for doing this, he declared. Tu-Fur hesitantly added, I did tell him about taking the heirloom. General Ghali slammed his fist on the table, rising to his feet. He said he wanted to pet the Sanamea dragon. He didn't say he was going to empty our coffers. Taking a deep breath to quell his rising anger, General Ghali forced himself to calm down. Perhaps, he mused, the burden of saving humanity is too much for him to bear. The afternoon sky outside was beginning to deepen into a warm, dusky hue. A softer expression crossed the general's face as he made a decision. Perhaps we should find him a therapist. True to his word, General Ghali procured a list of therapists for Jordander. I think these are suitable, he announced. Tu-Fur stared blankly at the list, utterly numb. Sensing a misunderstanding, Tu-Fur stammered. I apologize for disappointing you, father, but I don't need this. It's not what you think. General Ghali's expression hardened. Jordander, he said sternly, do you know why our family has always been victorious? Why we hold the position we do today? Jordander flinched, then replied, you said it was because of our faith in Mother Machi. Our devotion to Machi is absolute. Yes, General Ghali agreed. But those words are not just a slogan. He held out a glowing pendant towards Jordander. This is different from the trinkets you squandered. This is our family's true heirloom. The divine demonic weapon number 1, bestowed by Mother Machi herself. The downfall of Zuzaner. The wielder's reverence for Machi amplifies their strategic prowess many times over. Of course, it can also be used to test one's loyalty to Machi. Because only by maintaining 100% reverence to Lord Machi, the wielder of demonic weapon number 3, can its power be fully realized. Upon hearing this, Tu-Fur's face became slightly tense. Then, Uchi took this opportunity to subtly cast a concealing mist. You know, father, you've never lost a battle against the demons, so you can't understand how terrifying they truly are. But the situation has changed. It's not like it used to be. Now, Jordander is humanity's hope. It was unclear what Jordander was feeling at that moment, but he glanced away as if trying to avoid the truth. At this point, General Ghali made a decision. He would give Jordander his pendant. I now entrust this to you, son. Seeing his father offer the pendant so readily, Jordander couldn't help but wonder, you don't doubt me at all? As he reached out to accept it, General Ghali added a few words of advice. You are still young, and fear is perfectly reasonable, but a resolute heart is the most powerful strength. Although Jordander couldn't express everything he felt, deep down, he was grateful to his father. Being a disappointment and misunderstood couldn't be helped. After all, his father had never lost a battle against the demons, and no matter how dire the situation, he would never compromise. The pendant in Jordander's hand now emitted a light filled with holy power. The number 1 demonic gladiator. As he received the treasure from his father, Jordander pondered its purpose. Does this mean you want me to use this to fight the Demon King? Father, I understand your suffering. I will definitely pull myself together. However, upon closer inspection, something puzzled him. Why does this holy light have a trace of something else? This seemed unprecedented, and now General Ghali was also confused. He began to question everything. Is it broken? No, it can't be. The family records of over 1,000 years have never mentioned it breaking. Could it be that the reverence for Machi has been tainted? Suddenly, Jordander's demeanor shifted dramatically as he snatched a piece of paper. Father, please give me a therapist. Oh, good eye. I like that kind too. After regaining his composure, Jordander offered a theory. The anomaly of Juvender's downfall might be related to this. Suddenly, the pendant in his hand emitted a miraculous light. Then, General Ghali found himself holding a small, cute creature. He examined it carefully. Did I win this from a claw machine? But life wasn't a dream. In his hand was a cat, in full attack mode. No wait, on closer inspection, this is a system-level demonic artifact. The cat's eyes glowed crimson, radiating a murderous aura as if it was about to take his life. General Gali began to question everything again. How is this possible? There are only 13 system-level artifacts, and they are all bestowed by Machi. Bultagen, demonic gladiator number 8, with the power of absolute sealing, separated it and used its parts to create safe zones on Earth, 66 in total. Drawing on his vast experience, he continued. The primordial cannon, demonic weapon number 3, possesses the power of essence. It can transform the power of faith into the power of essence. The stronger the spiritual power, the stronger the combat power. The downfall of Juvinder, the number 1 demonic gladiator, knows no bounds. Seeing that even the most powerful weapons were no match for the approaching darkness, he became deeply worried. These 3 are all on a list of system-level divine artifacts, but these 3 currently cannot inflict significant damage on the Demon King. Then, Gali turned back to the small, harmless-looking kitten he held in his hand. It seemed ordinary enough, yet appearances could be deceiving. A latent power resided within this unassuming creature, a strength deeper and more profound than met the eye. Gali's face lit up with excitement. Excellent work, Jordander. With this, even if the enemy is stronger, we can still achieve victory with ease. He immediately questioned the source of this newfound power, his voice brimming with anticipation. Where did you acquire this? However, the answer that followed left him utterly dumbfounded. The Demon King gave it to me. Jordander's blunt reply left Gali reeling in disbelief. The Demon King gave it to you? The shock didn't end there. Jordander continued. What's more, the Demon King's lair is filled with these. He probably just whipped them up on a whim. This outlandish revelation nearly sent Gali into a fit of apoplexy. Filled with them? Whip them up. He lurched from one shock to the next as Jordander added. He even has the Crimson Outpost, an S-class artifact, just lying around. Gali stammered. I understand, Jordander. Seeing his father's strange behavior, Jordander cautiously spoke. Father. In the next moment, Gali stepped forward and placed a comforting hand on Jordander's shoulder. I understand what you've been facing, son. I didn't realize he was such a formidable foe. You must have endured so much hardship. Touched by his father's understanding, Jordander felt a surge of emotion. Gali, regaining his composure, declared, Don't worry, father. I've recovered my spirits. You've entrusted me with the number 1 demonic gladiator title. I will defeat the Demon King and won't disappoint you. But Gali's face darkened, his voice grave. The number 1 demonic gladiator title alone isn't enough. I never thought the day would come when I'd have to pass down our family's ultimate trump card, passed down through generations to you. Jordander's curiosity peaked. An ultimate trump card? We have something that powerful. Realizing Jordander needed to know, Gali revealed the truth. Indeed, against such a formidable enemy, even the demonic gladiator's divine weapon may not be enough. This final measure is one our family hasn't used in 1,000 years. Gali then instructed Jordander on how to utilize this powerful trump card. First, raise your left hand. Then, raise your right hand. Although unsure of the purpose, Jordander obediently followed his father's instructions. The unexpected twist was that the never-before-used trump card Gali spoke of was surrender, the last resort when cornered. Finding this utterly ridiculous, Jordander turned to his father, exasperated. Don't joke. You call this our trump card? I was just starting to feel determined. Gali beamed with pride at his son's sharp intuition. What? You saw through my bluff? As expected of my heir, my pride and joy. Meanwhile, Jordander, still holding his hands aloft, stared blankly and asked, What then? One aftershock, like fine wine, he truly gets better with age. And in the next second, he unleashes an even more formidable trump card, a demonic upgrade and a crushing blow. In a mere instant, the entire space is convulsed by the intense martial arts duel between the two. How can such a father be considered a demonic blood-forged puppet? Isn't his son the hope of humanity? The two, evenly matched, are determined to give it their all. This is no joke. There's no other way. Meanwhile, the beautiful female demons are burning with anxiety, having received no news of the Demon King. The situation is growing dire. We can't find the Demon King, Bella exclaimed, exasperated. What the hell are we going to do now? Even the 3 Milan have no news of him. 3 parts helpless, 7 parts despairing, they see no progress. We're at an impasse, one lamented. Contrary to everyone's agitation, Mammon remains seated, calmly contemplating. After countless failures, she finally decides to dispatch a team to search for the Demon King. The older demon seems less than enthusiastic about Mammon's plan, but we only have 1 team left. If we dispatch them, he turns, his voice laced with concern. We won't even have anyone to guard the base, let alone the children. The little demons are blissfully enjoying their icy treats, oblivious to the gravity of the situation. But Mammon refuses to let them remain idle. They must take action. If we can't find the Demon King, she declares, we have only one path left. A gruesome death, better than nothing. Having nothing left to lose, she decides to gamble everything. While their location remains undisclosed, it's all or nothing. Demon Squad, move out. Upon receiving her command, they waste no time, setting off immediately in search of the Demon King. Reaching a desolate wasteland, they disembark from their vehicle. The Demon Squad now finds itself face-to-face with a human convoy. The human driver, upon seeing the demons before him, is paralyzed with fear. Demons, we've encountered the Demon King's subordinates. The demons, however, are not pleased by this encounter. Humans, one grumbles. Just 3 kilometers out, and we run into humans. What rotten luck. From the human convoy, a man clad entirely in black steps out. Both sides raise their guard, anticipating an attack. The hot-headed humans immediately draw their swords. Impudent demons, one shouts. Prepare for a fight to the death. But it's all a bluff, a mere show of force. The demons react instantly. I'll hold them off, one cries. You all go. Find the Demon King. He charges forward, roaring, kill them all. Leave no one alive. Both sides, weapons at the ready, wait for the inevitable clash. After a moment of tense silence, they erupt into a chaotic brawl. Suddenly, amidst the furious fighting, an earth-shattering explosion erupts, painting the sky crimson. The humans struggle against its intense force. place. Even the demons pause, awestruck by the sheer power of the blast. What was that? And then, a third party enters the fray. Phinia class, E rank, mutated wolf, unknown level. He looks on in disbelief at the surreal scene. Ow, how is this possible? Now, their enemy wasn't each other, but that monstrous, hairy, and dangerous Phinia. An S-class variant, its rank exceeding 100 stars. Humanity had truly lost all hope, facing two such overwhelmingly superior opponents at once. This was an absolute impossibility. It turned out the reason Phinia joined the fray today was its bottomless stomach. Smelling food, it had arrived. Perhaps at this moment, they were silently praying for their lives as they watched Phinia charge forward like a god. The nightmare it sowed was only just beginning. Phinia immediately snatched a human, and what happened next was probably predictable. With its ravenous hunger, it instantly devoured the person's head. Everyone now officially joined Phinia's bloody feast. Phreens looked at his hand and spoke. My power has indeed increased again. He carried within him the energy of Phreens, now a level 5 characteristic, violent self-enhancement and leveling through devouring living beings. The layers stacked upon each other, 34 layers deep. Cooldown time, 29 minutes, 30 seconds. Alang approached Phreens and spoke. My lord, come and look at this. He looked towards his subordinate and replied, just keep going like this. We might actually be able to swallow the demon. Instead, Halang led Phreens closer to the bus and said, the group from earlier seemed to be escorting this vehicle. The vehicle's door slowly opened. The sight before him left him speechless. Inside were a group of children huddled together, terrified. Some of the children looked towards Phreens with pale faces, their bodies trembling uncontrollably. The scene shifted to Uchi. He leaned on the table, looking forward, and asked in astonishment, what? Missing children outside the safe zone. NPC 404 looked at his computer and replied, after the demonic weapon number 3 incident, we initiated an evacuation plan. Children under 16 were moved out of the safe zone to keep them away from the Demon King and protect them. But we lost contact near East Lake Forest Park. According to the investigation at the scene, a battle took place. There are traces of demons and variants. His report made Machi ask with some doubt, traces of both demons and variants? Isn't number 07 supposed to be monitoring the Demon King? What's going on? NPC 404 reported again. According to the report, the Demon King did leave his lair early this morning and went to the center of the safe zone. During this time, he helped an old lady cross the street and fed stray cats. He pointed out a pervert on the bus. The Demon King, Hada, received the title Righteous Citizen of Conscience. He set up a stall in the central square of the safe zone. Didn't sell anything, but chatted nonstop with uncles and aunts for 3 hours. Now he's back in his lair, taking a nap. Hearing about Hada's day, Machi slammed his hand on the table and roared. That insidious and cunning Demon King, hiding his evil so deeply. I can't understand what he's trying to do at all. He then looked at NPC 404 and ordered, we can't determine if the children's disappearance is related to him. Continue the investigation. The other obeyed, replying, yes. After he left the room, NPC 404 leaned on the table, lost in thought. Damn it, the missing children are because of the NPC plan. If rumors spread, the reputation of Chung Tian will definitely be affected. We must find those children quickly. The hope of humanity rests on suppressing this chaos. He then pulled out his phone to call someone, but the moment he raised it to his ear, the operator's voice announced, the number you have dialed is temporarily unavailable. His worried, contemplative expression instantly froze into one of helpless frustration. After a moment, Machi erupted in a furious shout. What in the world are you trying to do, Jordander? Inside Hada, the Demon King's residence, on Jordander's side, he sat bleary-eyed from lack of sleep, listlessly watching his grandfather, Gali, holding a gift box. He'd spent ages choosing the perfect present to give the Demon King. Jordander glanced at him with a look of disgust, thinking to himself, the father I've always been so proud of is actually a shameless sycophant. As he looked down at his own necklace, a sense of foreboding washed over him. Pure 99% Jordander pendant. Please verify the owner's loyalty level. He immediately turned to Gali and snapped. Appeasing the Demon King is only temporary. Our ultimate goal is to defeat him. Remember that. His outburst left Gali utterly bewildered. Isn't that obvious? He asked. Why are you making such a big deal about it, especially right in front of his house? And so loudly. Jordander, slightly embarrassed by his outburst, feigned a cough and replied, just a precaution. A reminder, father. Gali raised his hand towards the gate, preparing to ring the bell, and sensing his son's odd behavior, announced, well, I'm ringing the bell now. He pressed the bell. Suddenly, a thick black smoke billowed out from the other side, forming a demonic figure that glared at them and roared, you're courting death. Jordander, startled by the sight, muttered to himself, could this be the Demon King's warning to any enemy who dares to encroach on his territory? Gali, standing before him, pushed up his sunglasses and said, I sense it, Jordander. His words confused Jordander, who blurted out, sense what? Gali lowered one side of his sunglasses and continued, I sense that this Demon King senses me. I'm a number 1 demonic gladiator. I've slaughtered countless of his underlings. This illusion is his direct warning to me. How arrogant, how presumptuous. The demonic figure, which turned out to be the Demon King's doorbell attendant, looked at them and announced, the master is unavailable at the moment. Couldn't you have come another time? Jordander stared at it, dumbfounded. A doorbell, he whispered. Gali, standing beside him, was too speechless to even comment. The doorbell attendant propped its chin on its hand, smiled at them, and said, staring at me won't do any good. I'm not telling you anything. Behind it, another demon, Bao Bao, was basking in the sun. Bao lifted a leg, turned its head towards them, smiled, and said, he's taking a nap. Jordander, once again taken aback, echoed Bao Bao's words. Oh no. Bao looked at them, then glanced at 2 small chairs by the gate. If you're willing, you can wait there. All right then. Both Jordander and Gali walked toward the chairs and sat down with surprising ease. Then he just scrolled through his phone until evening. But time flew by, and soon it was afternoon. The sun began to set, painting a vivid picture of the twilight hour. Jordander's phone, after a long day of use, finally ran out of battery, completely drained. Jordander put his phone away and looked at his father, Gali, with exasperation. Father, please be serious. What if the Demon King comes back and sees us scrolling on our phones? Do you think that's appropriate? But in reality, Gali had just taken his own phone out when he received a disapproving look from his son. A little while later, the Demon King finally woke up. He hurriedly opened the door, looking sheepishly at them before speaking. I apologize. I accidentally overslept. Upon seeing Hada, both Jordander and Gali immediately stood up and politely replied in turn, not at all, not at all. We just arrived. We haven't been waiting long. Not numb at all. But despite their words, their legs were, in fact, so numb that they trembled uncontrollably as they stood before him. Seeing Gali for the first time, Hada couldn't help but express his surprise. And this is Gali, smiling, gestured to his side and introduced himself. This is my father, Gali. He currently works at the Chungtian City Council. Hearing this, Hada was taken aback, silently wondering why Gali had come see him. Noticing Hada's expression, Gali put a hand behind his head and said sheepishly, I became your fan after watching that live stream. I heard you and Jordan are acquainted, so I came to visit. Hearing his reason, Hada exclaimed with delight, so you're a fan of the live stream? It was just a misunderstanding. Everyone misunderstood me. Actually, I'm not some big shot or rich guy. I'm just an ordinary citizen with no combat ability. He then opened the door and invited them inside. In the living room, Gali sat down and looked at Hada. Right. That's right, I understand, he said, playing along. He continued to praise Hada. I just didn't expect Mr. Hada to be so much more handsome in person than in the video. Truly. This made Hada blush and humbly reply, you're too kind. Meanwhile, Jordander sat nearby, watching with a helpless expression. Unexpectedly, Gali stepped forward and offered to massage Hada's shoulders. Let me give you a shoulder rub. Hada was startled. How can I let you do that? But immediately after, Gali took out a handkerchief and knelt down to polish Hada's shoes. You don't know, my shoe shining skills are top-notch. This action horrified Hada even more. Isn't that a bit much? He exclaimed. Jordander, witnessing this scene, was utterly bewildered. Father, he thought to himself. Hada, his expression a mixture of confusion and bewilderment, asked, Mr. Gali, I'm just an ordinary person. Shouldn't we interact normally? He thought to himself, are even high-level NPCs acting like this now? Gali, still clutching Hada's leg, stuck out his tongue like a puppy and nodded repeatedly. Understood. Meanwhile, he thought, can't overdo it. I'll blow the Demon King's cover. Hearing this, Hada, the Demon King, exclaimed with delight, that's wonderful. Gali, seated on a chair, pulled 6 gifts from his bag and, looking towards Hada, said, please accept this small token of my esteem. Hada took the gift. As he opened the box, a brilliant blue light unexpectedly erupted from within, causing him to cry out in astonishment. This is a self-propelled vacuum cleaner that suddenly launched itself from a box. The S-Class force-powered automatic vacuum cleaner, equipped with the latest AI. Automatic cleaning mode can be activated upon startup, freeing up your hands for a more enjoyable life. Gali, beaming with pride, explained to Hada, this is a vacuum cleaner imbued with primal force. Your dungeon, your residence is so spacious. I felt this would be the most appropriate gift. Nearby, in the pet activity area, Babylon and Balayam were playing chess. When they saw the vacuum cleaner, their eyes widened in surprise as they watched it approach. Suddenly, the vacuum cleaner swerved towards them. Both Babylon and Balayam leaped up and, clinging to each other, ran. Don't come any closer. Balayam yelled as they fled. The self-propelled vacuum cleaner bumped against Balayam, causing her to lurch forward to avoid it. Hada, still seated, watched their frantic attempts to escape the vacuum cleaner with a touch of helplessness. He then turned and smiled at them. Seeing his smile, Gali's eyes gleamed with a knowing look. Success, he thought triumphantly. Only I can make the Demon King smile like that. Take that, you sycophants. Learn a thing or two from me, son. He then turned to Jordander with a smug grin, his expression baffling his son. Gali narrowed his eyes, thinking gift giving must be based on the recipient's personality, hobbies, and living conditions. This automatic vacuum cleaner not only helps him clean his house, but also provides entertainment. It perfectly meets the Demon King's needs and will remind him of us every time he sees it diligently working. Jordander, meanwhile, stared at his father with utter bewilderment. Finally understanding his father's look, Jordander furrowed his brow and thought with a weary sigh, oh, Dad, of course, you're truly something. I learned so much. Gali, still basking in his perceived triumph, declared, but you thought that was all, didn't you? They exchanged knowing glances, each silently asking, did you really think I was just a limitless bootlicker? What, weren't you? Gali thought in response, it seems you, too, and even the Demon King, have been blinded by my charm, overlooking my true intellect, Gali declared. Jordander could only stare in astonishment. True intellect? Before Jordander could finish, Gali continued his internal monologue. Indeed, this S-Class device may seem harmless to humans and beasts, but it's actually equipped with the latest divine power AI system, capable of complex calculations. He continued to observe Balayam and Babylon, who were still being pursued by the relentless vacuum cleaner, clinging to each other for dear life. It's so itchy. I can't take it anymore. Babylon cried. Hold on tight. Just a little longer. Balayam urged. Gali muttered to himself. It possesses the ability to accurately calculate the most pleasing course of action. Prolonged use could paralyze the Demon King's mind, driving him to madness. If things continue like this, humanity will triumph without a fight. Jordander, taken aback by his father's inner monologue, thought, that's my bloodthirsty dad for you, boasting 100 victories in 100 battles against demons. I spent years manually testing it, Gali continued. As Hajia took hold of the device, a blinding light suddenly erupted. Gali, startled, spun around and exclaimed, what's happening? The vacuum cleaner's head is changing. Next, its body began to transform, he narrated, eyes wide. Then, its components started shifting. And then, the internal parts of the vacuum cleaner began to change. In mere moments, the vacuum cleaner was upgraded in Hajia's hands. Hajia, holding the device, looked at it in astonishment. It transformed, he asked, bewildered. Gali, equally surprised, nodded vigorously. Right, he agreed before the full realization of what had happened hit him. He froze as if turned to stone and choked out, right, but why? Gali furrowed his brow, glancing at Hajia with suspicion. This is strange, he thought. How can something transform into a deadly weapon just by being touched? And it's equipped with the latest divine AI, with computational abilities far surpassing humans. It can instantly analyze and gather comprehensive information about its owner and calculate the best way to please them. Wait a minute, he realized. After analyzing the Demon King, it immediately chose to surrender. You spineless, shameless thing. Suddenly, Gali dropped to his knees and kowtowed before Hajia. The Demon King, taken aback, asked, Mr. Gali, why are you suddenly bowing? Back on the sofa, Gali, still flustered, explained himself. I apologize. My legs suddenly went weak. I lost control for a moment. Hajia, holding the upgraded vacuum cleaner, thanked him profusely. Please, sit down and rest, Mr. Gali. You shouldn't have bothered bringing bringing such a precious gift when you're not feeling well. Thank you so much, but I really can't accept it. Both Gali and Jordander were stunned by his refusal. What? Gali's eyebrows shot up in alarm. The AI's flattery has reached this level, and he still won't accept it? Could it be he prefers living beings? His expression quickly brightened. Hey, Bimet, Hadia. Mr. Ha, you prefer pets, don't you? You have sprites. So how about a goblin or a werewolf? Hajia smiled gently. No, it's not that. He brought a hand to his face, a touch embarrassed. Actually, there's something I need your help with. I should be the one giving you a gift, not the other way around. I'm just a little embarrassed to ask. Gali, understanding dawning on him, spoke up. So that's it. Another mission? Leave it to us. Jordander, still bewildered, asked, what is it? Hajia recounted his journey home. He'd heard about the missing children outside the safe zone. The residents, eyeing him, spoke up. Young master, you're a big shot now. Living in a fancy house, even having a high-ranking NPC as a friend. If you have the chance, please help us think of a solution. Even just a word or two to Jordander would be good. Everyone in the Kajama safe zone knows he listens to you the most. If he agrees to join, we're sure to find those children. He'd barely finished speaking when Jordander moved towards his charging phone and answered it. So that's what happened. I understand. Send the documents to my device. He continued charging and making calls, gathering information. A notification popped up on his phone. You have received information regarding the attack on the convoy near Midashimiki. Reading the information, he thought to himself, it's normal for the aberrants to attack humans. If they can eliminate the guards before reinforcements arrive, their combat power will be overwhelming. But this might attract the Demon King's attention. Could this incident conceal a devastating threat? Hajia suddenly looked at him and blurted out, although it's presumptuous, could you please save those children? The interruption startled him. What? Are you afraid they won't agree? Hajia clasped his hands together, looking utterly pitiful, and pleaded sincerely, because I'm truly worried about them. This action left both of them dumbfounded. Gali, glancing at Hajia with a wary expression, thought, something's not right. Is he acting? He's the Demon King, yet he's urging us to save those human children. If the conflict drags on, Gali mused, those children will become the backbone of the resistance against the Demon King. Meaning, the children, representing hope and the future, will be the very ones to oppose him. Why is he so eager for them to die? He's feigning innocence, but in reality, he must have some sinister, cunning plan. Gali sat down at his computer and began analyzing the situation for the other two. The report says the evidence suggests the aberrants didn't kill the children on the spot, but took the school bus. We can't yet determine the logic behind their behavior or the reason for it, but deliberately taking the children must have some purpose. And because there's a purpose, the children are likely still alive. Hearing this, Hajia was immensely relieved, tears welling up in his eyes. They're alive? That's so wonderful, he exclaimed. Demon King, thank goodness. Thank goodness. Gali, witnessing this display, was speechless. He shot Hajia a disdainful look, thinking, such exaggerated acting. I still have to pretend to believe it. But as long as he can maintain stability, these humiliations are nothing. Despite his inner thoughts, he turned back to Hajia, feigning emotion, grasped his hand, and cried out, it's truly a divine blessing. Hajia replied, yes, I feel the same way. Jordander, hands on his hips, confidently declared to Hajia, don't worry, I'll definitely rescue those children. Overjoyed, Hajia exclaimed, Jordander, my hero. He's too strong. I'll go tell everyone. Wait for our good news. Jordander, his gaze unwavering with newfound resolve, declared as he left Gali's home, I will definitely complete this mission. His performance was flawless, utterly genuine. This left his father, Gali, utterly dumbfounded. Inside Jordander's control room, surrounded by a multitude of screens, he raised a hand and issued commands. NPCs in Kujama receive orders. Target all aberrations exceeding level 50 within a 100 kilometers radius and monitor their activity for 3 hours. The NPCs outside, already hard at work, responded, filtering hostile groups showing signs of activity. Jordander's team within the room added their input. Simultaneously issue quests to the players. Prioritize hunting carnivorous aberrations and gathering clues about the missing children from them. Jordander surveyed the screens, thinking to himself, this way, I can receive news the moment a clue is found. Just you wait for my good news, Demon King. Outside, Gali watched his son from afar. Jordander's fervent dedication to the mission touched the older man. Jordander is working so hard to complete the Demon King's task, he murmured. The Demon King chose to cooperate with him and refuse the S-rank Primal Force AI vacuum. He's really trying to gain favor. No, to stabilize the kingdom. Jordander's dedication has surpassed even my own. What a relief. Now I can focus on the upcoming conference. Gali shouldered his weapon, stabilizing those corrupt, high-ranking officials. That's something only I, as Councilman Number 1, can do. Jordander has finally given me the time to focus on this. But just then, he leaned his weapon against a nearby wall. From now on, your job is to accompany my son, he addressed the weapon. Primal Force AI. He turned to leave. As the weapon touched the wall suddenly flashed red. Laser-like beams of light appeared on its surface. Gali stared, bewildered. The weapon, now leaning against the activated wall, spoke. Primal Force AI has connected to Skirich City's private network, expanding surveillance network to encompass all individuals within Skirich City. Any anomalies will be reported to the Demon King immediately. Gali responded, right, it's already begun its work. But as the implications of this sank in, a wave of horror washed over Gali, freezing him in place. This is the real reason the Demon King refused the Primal Force AI. He gasped, that cunning, deceitful Demon King. Meanwhile, Hajia, the Demon King, stood in the street, addressing the surrounding crowd. Jordander has intervened. Everyone, rest assured, we will definitely be able to save the children. If even he can't do it, then perhaps no one in this world can. The crowd responded with enthusiastic agreement. That's right. We all know. Skirich City has just issued numerous bounty quests, calling on everyone to hunt down aberrations and search for traces of the children. The rewards are incredibly generous. Seeing everyone's agreement made him so happy he blurted out, is that so? That's great. Now I can rest easy. An elderly woman in a brown coat, standing nearby, smiled and spoke up. Although we don't understand the specifics. A woman in purple, standing next to her, continued. But I hear that if you complete more, your reputation in Skirich City will improve. The cost of all future transactions will be reduced by 5%. Hearing this made Hajia incredibly happy. After a moment, touched by these words, the surrounding crowd continued to chatter. But the aberrant variants are a bit dangerous. These missions are thanks to Jordander. He He's the one who issued them. If they knew I was involved too, it would be a bit embarrassing. Hearing this, Hajia felt a pang of despair. Suddenly, a woman with curly hair looked at him and asked, Hajia, are you interested too? He put his hand behind his head, replying bashfully, not me, ma'am. The next morning, Hajia held a wooden sign that read, recruiting people for missions, and offered money. Beside him lay countless other scrolls. He raised the wooden sign and stood in the middle of the street. Everyone passing by ignored him completely, simply walking on. Others chatted animatedly as they passed, saying, let's go. Suddenly, a voice called out from nearby, oh, isn't that the famous Hajia? Hajia turned around in surprise. It's you, class president. The young man with blue hair was indeed the level 19 assassin, the class president. The class president looked at Hajia, smiled, and asked, I saw you in a live stream before. I thought you were some important figure. How did you end up in such a desperate situation? Hajia put his hand behind his head and laughed awkwardly. It's a long story. In a nearby alley, a young man in a blue shirt tossed 2 copper coins in his hand. A chubby young man sitting on the ground looked at them with a terrified expression and pleaded, all the rewards are here. Please take them and let me go. I'll bring more tomorrow. I promise. The man in blue threatened, if you don't want us posting your nude photos on the World Channel, you'd better do what you say. This new mission is amazing. Thanks to the class president gathering so many underlings, we're raking in the cash. The woman beside him smiled smugly and added, exactly. Being able to collect so many nudes, the class president is truly skilled. This calls for a celebration. Suddenly, recognizing a familiar face nearby, she exclaimed in surprise, class president. Over by Hajia, the class president clapped him on the shoulder and said cheerfully, what a coincidence. See, I told you you're not some big shot. I'm probably still level 1. Unlike you, class president. You've always been so capable. The woman smiled, stroking her hair. Oh my, is the class president developing a new downline? Such a model employee. He looked at Hajia and asked, isn't that someone from our class? Rents a room off campus. I've never seen him in class. The woman replied, I don't recognize him either. The class president generously tossed some coins towards Hajia. Since you look so pathetic, I'll help you out a bit. Here's a reward for you. Hajia received 3 silver coins. He looked at the coins in his hand, his expression a mixture of speechless amusement and exasperation. Then, looking at them, he began, actually, your class rank is pretty high, right? The class president's already reached level 19. World Strategic ranking 3,445. At his question, the class president narrowed his eyes, looking at Hajia with disdain. Pretty high? You don't understand anything. He had gathered all the scrolls, stuffing them into the basket slung across his back. Hajia looked at them, a smile playing on his lips. I really don't know much. Even my party experience is limited to just one time. So, could you guys take me on a mission? I've been waiting a long time, and it's really hard to find a team capable and willing to lead me. At his words, the class president put his hands on his hips, sneering. Huh, can't even afford 3 silver coins, and you expect to leech off us for missions. The cheerful expression faded from Hajia's face. I can pay. The class president, clearly disbelieving, gave him a scornful look. Oh really? A level 1 newbie like you, unwanted by any team. How much money could you possibly have? Opponent requests a trade. Opponent pays you 2 gold coins. Opponent has confirmed. A sudden silence fell. The class president stared at the amount Hajia offered, his expression shifting from disbelief to utter shock. T2 gold coins? He stammered. Everything I've saved up until now is only 2 gold coins. How does this newbie have as much as me? I'm in the top 5,000 of the world rankings. Hajia, a hint of smugness in his smile, asked, full payment is 5 gold coins. I'll give you 3 more after we're done. Considering your level and rank, I think it's a fair price. Even world-class parties only charge 10 gold. The class president stared at him, dumbfounded. Then a surge of angry jealousy washed over him. Damn it, he muttered. Why does it seem like he just achieved his top rank? An outsider from our class, showing off in front of me after just 1 live stream. I wasn't planning on messing with him, but now I've changed my mind. I'll lure him into the wilderness, teach him a lesson, and then take some compromising photos. And I'll take all his money. Let's see him strut around after that. A sinister thought sparked in the class president's mind. He approached Hajia with a friendly smile. Hey, since we're classmates, let's not talk about money. Helping each other out is only natural, right? Eving approached. A player, clad in the familiar green of Monster Hunters, hands tucked in his pockets, looked at Hajia. Don't wander off. If those aberrations get you, I can't guarantee I'll be able to save you in time. Hajia, sitting on the ground, scrolled through his notifications, then looked up at them with a smile. Ah, class president, don't scare me. You'll protect me, right? I still have to pay you the rest of the money. The class president drew his weapon, assuming a combat stance, and looked ahead. Honestly, I don't really care about the rest of your money. He gestured to his 2 companions. Our levels are 21, 22, and 20, all rogue trainees. Hajia, still diligently sorting his scrolls, murmured, ah, these are completed, these are not. After submitting all the quests and earning the prestigious Friend of Skirich City title upon completing all the reports, Hajia's face lit up with uncontainable joy. It seems I've done enough to earn the reputation reward, he thought. As evening fell, the class president, hands tucked into his pockets, looked over at Hajia and said, if you're all done, let's head back. Hajia, still diligently working on his reports, glanced up at the class president and politely declined. I'm sorry, but I have quite a few quests to manage, and it's getting late. A while later, Hajia and the class president finally left together. Just then, a young man in a green shirt approached from afar and called out, I've been looking for you. The difficulty of the quests used to be so high. Why the sudden change? His companion chimed in, I don't know. We'll ask when we go back to turn in the quests. The class president glanced back, as if signaling to his companions, while thinking to himself, perfect, it's dark. I'll lead him somewhere secluded. As they walked, Hajia, sensing something amiss about their route, turned to the class president and asked, are you sure there won't be any problems going this way? At Hajia's question, the class president furrowed his brow and turned back to look at him, wondering, could he have figured it out? Hajia, looking at him, exclaimed, because the monsters around here, they don't seem easy to fight. Almost all of them are high level. Level 56 mutated wolf, level 49 mutated wolf, level 72 mutated wolf, level 66 mutated wolf. Sensing danger, Hajia immediately turned and ran, glancing back at the group as he yelled, everyone run. Suddenly, a hand reached out and shoved him towards the monsters. Hajia stared back at them, his eyes wide with disbelief. A faint, ethereal glow suddenly emanated from the surrounding forest. Reacting quickly, Hajia narrowly escaped the jaws of a monster. Realizing what was happening, he muttered to himself, these guys are trying to sell me out and run for it themselves? Damn it, I was so close to finishing. Moments later, he was thrown into a prison cell. The door slammed shut. The realization that he was still alive filled Hajia with relief. I'm alive, he exclaimed. That's great. Next time, I should stick with the top 10 players and not try to cut corners, he thought. Suddenly, the sound of children crying reached his ears. Crying, he wondered, startled. Behind him were the missing children. The sight of them shocked him. These kids, could they be the missing children? And they're missing players and guards too. So even those big shots didn't escape. Not just children. All the missing humans are alive, just like Big Brother said. What are these beast men planning? Just then, a little girl in a yellow dress among the children cried out, it's so scary. It stinks. I want to go home. Suddenly, Hajia pulled out a roasted chicken and offered it to the children. Their eyes widened in surprise as they looked at him. Upon seeing the chicken, instead of rejoicing, the little girl in the red dress made a shockingly blunt statement. I don't want it, she declared. Mom says it's too high in protein. I can't digest it. Hearing this, Hajia pulled out a gleaming iron sword. The girl in the red dress looked at the sword and exclaimed, it doesn't even glow. It's not cool at all. Hajia's expression became one of utter helplessness. Despite this, he pulled out a Sailor Moon figurine and offered it to her. Seeing this, the girl in the red dress immediately eyed him suspiciously. Big Brother, she asked, you're not from Fantasy World, are you? The little girl's words left Hajia utterly defeated. He turned his face to a corner, muttering to himself, are children this hard to please these days? Looking over at him, the girl in the red dress, her curiosity piqued, asked, Big Brother, what's that? He glanced at his potions and replied, these are potions. It's a level C production skill I got from previous quests. The primary purification potion, after consumption, can purify low-level negative status effects. The girl in the red dress picked up a blue potion and asked, can it purify bad feelings like fear, worry, and sadness? Hajia turned back, smiling. Yeah, he said hopefully, but there's nothing to be scared of, even if it's just your best friend. At his reassuring words, the girl in the red dress immediately retorted, really? You look totally terrified just now. Why shouldn't I be scared? Hajia replied, because someone will definitely come to save us. His confident answer made the little girl skeptical. Really? She asked. He affirmed, of course. Seeing them chatting animatedly, Han Lang, standing nearby, tried to cover his ears to block out the noise. Meanwhile, Hajia continued talking with the children. By then, these monsters will all be killed, so there's nothing to be afraid of. Wow, little Big Brother is right. A brown-haired girl looked at the girl in the red dress and asked, but these monsters are so strong. Who will kill them and save us? The girl in red replied, exactly. Suddenly, Hajia spoke up. Have you ever heard of the hope of humanity? Elsewhere, Jordan was driving his car with all his might, rushing towards their location. As he drove, he spoke into his communicator. The missing children's school bus has been located. They've overrun the entire southern area. No players or NPCs have been spared. The children were brought here after being captured. Send the exact location to my phone. He thought to himself, I have to keep them alive. Why is this so complicated? Back with Hajia, Fancy Gio looked at him and asked, are you saying that this hope will come to save you? Hajia glanced at him in alarm. It was Fancy Gio, the S-rank mutated variant leader. He crossed his arms, smirking smugly at Hajia. That's good news, he mocked, because I've been waiting for him. In another area, two high-level monsters stood guard. Seeing someone approaching, Han Lang called out, who's there? This is the lair of the Beast King, Finriser. No entry without summons. From afar, a dark figure slowly approached. It was Du Long Du. He frowned, his expression murderous. His appearance startled Han Lang, who stammered, wait. But before they could react, Du Lu Din Du, in his first attack, lunged past them. In a blink, he eliminated one of the two. Friend Ji, inside the base, felt the ground shake and cried out in alarm. What's happening? Just as he spoke, the corridor at the far end shook violently. Han Lang rushed in, yelling, Friend Ji, sir, it's Jale Ding Da. Du Lu Din Du has broken in. Friend Ji turned to Han Lang and said, wait, he's finally here. If I could just meet him, then I can. He glanced at Hajia, but before he could finish his sentence, a massive explosion rocked the base. Han Lang was instantly thrown back. The powerful blast shook the entire old building. A gaping hole appeared in the wall. Fancy Gioi spun around in a panic. Jordan stepped in, his eyes blazing with murderous intent. He commanded, hand over the children. His terrifying presence made Fancy Gioi stammer. So intimidating. I was prepared, but still. He frowned at Jordan and said, as expected of the legendary hope of humanity, your aura and power are truly admirable. Jordan cut him short. Enough with the flattery. Where are they? Under Jordan's intense gaze, Fancy Gioi pointed toward Hajia and the children nearby. Don't worry, not one is missing. They're all here. Hajia, seeing Jordan, was overcome with relief and joy. Jordan, upon seeing Hajia, paused, trying to process the situation. Realizing the unexpected presence, he thought in astonishment, why is the Demon King here? Hajia, overjoyed, exclaimed, Jordan, I've been waiting for you. You actually came. I asked you to rescue the children, but I didn't expect you to rescue me too. Fancy Gioi stood between Jordan and Hajia. Hajia's words shocked Jordan, who thought he was actually waiting for me. He didn't trust me, so he deliberately came to supervise me, to see how I'd perform, to see if I'd show up. If that's the case, then I'll give you a good show. He drew his sword from his hip. Seeing this, Fancy Gioi started to say, Jordan, wait, but before he could finish, Jordan attacked. His eyes glowed crimson as he roared at Fancy Gioi. I'll take them all. Hand them over. Jordan's terrifying aura frightened the children. They all ran to Fancy Gioi, crying, scary, help, please don't let him take us. Fancy Gioi, witnessing this, exclaimed in disbelief. Who's the villain here? Jordan, unfazed, charged towards him with terrifying speed. Jordan swung his sword, striking Fancy Gioi. He tried to dodge, but couldn't avoid it completely. The impact of the blow caused a massive explosion, sending debris flying through the air. Fancy Gioi gasped, such powerful sword energy. So, this is truly the hope of humanity, Jordan. Its face was so contorted, its parents probably wouldn't even recognize it. Seeing the situation escalating, Fancy Gioi quickly distanced himself from Jordan. He looked towards him and then spoke up, interjecting, wait. Then, he yelled out an explanation. Actually, I captured these humans with no intention of harming them. This is to attract the attention of high-ranking humans. I want to meet with you. The atmosphere suddenly grew still, punctuated only by the passing breeze. He could sense it. This creature's goal wasn't to kill Jordan. Jordan raised an eyebrow, staring at the creature before him. What do you mean? Friend Friend G, an S-rank mutated variant, stated coldly, reminding him, look at my build and my rank. Jordan frowned, retorting, you're level 101? Friend G puffed out his chest, his voice booming. That's right, I awakened the ultra-powerful growth trait. Eating one sentient being allows me to accumulate one layer of gluttony. Consuming one layer of gluttony increases my level by 1. Jordan, still gripping his sword tightly, listened as Friend G continued. In just 2 short days, I've reached level 101. Although I've accumulated 15 layers and haven't used them yet, it probably won't be necessary. Because aside from you and other wielders of divine artifacts, I'm already invincible, right? He grew even more gleeful as he spoke. So, if an invincible being like me wants an alliance with humanity, what do you think? Friend G furrowed his brow, thoughts churning within him. His purpose wasn't to antagonize humanity. It was to find a way for them to coexist so that more mutated variants could survive in this world. He looked directly at the man before him, his heart full of calculations for his kind. Revealing his strength was merely a bargaining chip. Even Jordan would surely be shocked after learning of his power. He observed Jordan's every move, finding it somewhat puzzling. Friend G saw what Jordan was doing. He wasn't shocked, but instead looked towards the captured humans. Why was he starting to look increasingly angry? Was it still because he had attacked the humans? He had to eliminate Jordan's hostility. Thinking this, he immediately lowered his stance and spoke respectfully. As for that, I can apologize. I only captured them to create an opportunity to communicate with you. You could even say I saved them. Jordan questioned coldly. Save them? What do you mean? Fancy Goy immediately explained. When I encountered them, they were being ambushed by demons. He puffed out his chest proudly. I killed all the demons and saved these humans. Silence fell once more. No one spoke a word. Even the onlookers were dumbfounded. Is that wolf looking for a death wish? Jordan's expression darkened. He asked softly, is that so? Fancy Goy mistook this for understanding. He beamed, overjoyed. He's wavering. He understands. He thought Jordan was moved by his sincerity. He continued to boast. And that young man behind you? My subordinates discovered him and his companions wandering in a dangerous area. To prevent them from being ambushed by demons, I took them and locked them in a cage. But upon hearing this, Jordan looked at him with an expression of pity mixed with a hint of something like finality. Fancy Goy was utterly bewildered. Why? Why is he looking at me like that? He tried desperately to persuade Jordan. Let's cooperate, Jordan. His voice rose. We have a common enemy, the Demon King. Du Le Din Du, after hearing this for the first time, broke out in a cold sweat. How could this wolf know that the person they were talking about, the Demon King, was right behind them? Du Le Din Du furrowed his brow and roared, simultaneously drawing his sword. Holmon Luangu, I can't let you continue. Hadia from behind seemed quite intrigued, giving Du Le Din Du a fright. She innocently asked, why not? I think he's speaking quite well. Du Le Din Du trembled all over, unsure how to handle this awkward situation. TH that. Heeding Hadia's words, he sheathed his sword. Continue, he said. Fancy Goy, full of himself, went on. I knew you'd be interested. His next words left everyone dumbfounded. I've devised a perfect collaboration. We mutated variants are developing higher intelligence. We also know the current whereabouts of the Demon King and the Great Demon are unknown. This is a perfect opportunity to eliminate them. I'll help you kill the demons, and you help me become the leader of the monsters. From then on, I'll command all monsters, feeding them only demons and never encroaching on human territory. He grew more and more enthusiastic, convinced of his own righteousness. Isn't it perfect? Isn't it undeniable? There's no way to refuse, is there? The atmosphere grew heavy, a terrifying silence descending. Jordan turned to look at Hadia, who smiled brightly and replied, sounds pretty good, doesn't it, brother Du Le Din Du? Du Le Din Du's expression with a mixture of emotions. He silently nodded. I understand. His mind raced. The Demon King let me come here first to prevent me from joining forces with this mutated variant. He made him reveal his entire plan to test my reaction. This means he's known about the evolution and plans of the mutated variants for a long time. Everything that's happening is within his predictions. Such powerful judgment, such deep scheming, such a terrifying desire for control. The wolf, Fancy Goy, remained convinced everything would go smoothly. Such a mutually beneficial solution, even if a temporary alliance. He saw no reason for refusal. Jordan abruptly cut off his train of thought. I refuse. Friend G was utterly bewildered. He didn't understand at all. Wait, why? He blurted out, stunned. Du Le Din Du didn't waste words. He charged towards Fancy Goy, his mind racing. Of course, it's because the Demon King is watching. The wolf's eyes burned with frustration. You have to tell me why. Any demands you have, we can discuss them. Du Le Din Du attacked again. Again, the wolf roared, exasperated. Let's talk. Let's renegotiate. But Du Le Din Du had no time for negotiations. The pressure was immense. Unable to negotiate, he invoked Hadia's name. I, representing the Demon King, will destroy you. The wolf was speechless, utterly helpless. Whose side are you even on? But before he could utter another word, he was cut down. Du Le Din Du struck a dramatic pose. Even though we're both level 101, you're the growth type. You can't defeat me. Besides, I'm a veteran of 100 battles. The dust settled, revealing the figure of Jordan. Hadia was astonished, replaying the events in her mind. Did brother Du Le Din Du just shout, representing the Demon King? She couldn't understand why. Could it be amidst the lingering smoke and dust that wolf still lives? Fancy Goy murmured, his voice barely a whisper. Is it because my awakened intellect is insufficient? Why else can't I grasp the logic behind these humans' actions? Resignation tinged his tone. Very well. It seems you've realized I won't cooperate on your terms. A new resolve hardened his voice. You needn't offer me anything. I'll return all your prisoners. I'll even help you fight the other demons on Earth. Just spare my life. Jordan, upon hearing this, was utterly dumbfounded. His mind raced, trying to process the sudden shift. What? He stammered. I think I understand. I think I get it now. Jordan's thoughts drifted to a distant, unsettling possibility. The second implication of the Demon King personally overseeing this. He mused, is that he's afraid I'll immediately let this mutated variant go. He spoke his realization aloud. He's expressly forbidding it. No way. Friend G, overhearing this, was equally speechless. He still won't allow it? Seriously? The desperate mutant continued his frantic bargaining. All right. I won't be the leader of the monsters anymore. Just let me live. I'll be your dog. Du Le Din Du remained unmoved. No. Fancy Goy pressed on. Then all my subordinates will be your dogs. Du Le Din Du's answer was the same. No. The wolf-like mutant wanted to howl at the heavens in frustration. Someone tell me, he pleaded, dodging another attack. Why nothing works? Is this human insane? He vented his desperation. I just want to give the mutated variants a way to survive. It doesn't have to be like this. A chilling resolve hardened Fancy Gyoi's features. Fine then, if that's how it is, I won't hold back anymore. He unleashed his power. Fancy Gyoi consumes 50 layers of gluttony, increasing his level by 30. From level 101 to 131, the scene shifted. Elsewhere, a figure known as Mother spoke in a cold voice. Haven't I told you already? A subordinate questioned him. Didn't you say the mutated variants were creatures of low intelligence? Mother explained. The Demon King is stronger than anticipated, and the mutated variants under his influence are also stronger than expected. Isn't this perfectly logical? The subordinate, bewildered, continued. My point is, why didn't you tell us sooner? Mother retorted sharply. Couldn't you have figured it out yourselves? Must you rely on me for everything? Perhaps you should reflect on that. I'm a god, not your mother. The subordinate fell silent, unsure how to respond. Mother turned away in exasperation. My apologies. It's all my fault. Another figure, Motion, spoke up. It's just such a pity. Mother turned back in surprise. A pity. Motion let out a chilling laugh, his expression filled with malicious glee. Indeed, a promising alliance transformed into a grave threat. He was referring to Jordan and Friend G. Friend G spoke, his voice cold. Do you really think you could defeat me? Jordan, hearing this, felt a chill run down his spine. Fancy Gyoi's eyes burned with a destructive intensity. Duladindu understood Fancy Gyoi's intent. He roared, it's a ranged attack. He's trying to kill everyone. He turned and shouted to the others. Brace yourselves. Use all your defensive abilities. Now, the others sprang into action. Yes, they activated their skills. Shield wall, concealment, word of warding. The young girls joined the fray. We're here too. Defensive light ring, armor boost, protective blessing. Hadia, however, stood frozen, completely lost in the chaos. Duladindu unleashed his own power. S-rank divine shield. At the same time, Friend G launched an attack against them. Murmurs rippled through the group in the face of this perilous situation. Even with Jordan's support mitigating the damage, they began hesitantly. This attack is draining everyone's health rapidly. This situation is extremely unstable. But Hadia, stunned, realized something. It doesn't actually hurt that much. Duladindu gritted his teeth, bearing the brunt of the assault. The force is too strong. The difference in levels is immense. If I use an enhancement item, hell breakthrough mode will be interrupted. He lunged towards Friend G, facing a level 131 mutated variant. Jordan knew he had no chance to use an enhancement item. His power was limited by the current version. Damn it. He ground his teeth, glancing at Hadia, hoping for some kind of miracle. He'd already refused to cooperate with the mutated variant. Fancy Gyoi. Was the Demon King going to abandon him too? Hadia, oblivious, wondered, what's going on? Why doesn't it hurt? This is lucky. To Duladindu, this act looked like terrible overacting. Feigning ignorance and deliberately avoiding my gaze, he thought. Friend G intends to eliminate me. Duladindu, and extinguish humanity's hope. Hadia, consumed by worry, could only watch Duladindu. Duladindu, meanwhile, inwardly cursed. I've pushed myself to the limit. Are you really not going to help? A young voice cried out. Brother, I'm coming to help. Duladindu saw a green bottle. The bottle hurtled through the air, smashing against Friend G's head. A spray of adhesive erupted, freezing the wolf-like mutant stiffer than a dog caught in a trap. In an instant, the massive wolf collapsed with a resounding thud. Everyone stared anxiously at Jordan. A cloud of dust and debris obscured the scene. Hadia, filled with anxiety, peered through the haze. Jordan, a golden light pierced the gloom. Friend G's mouth was filled with a shimmering golden orb, leaving the creature bewildered. What? The power dynamic has shifted. Duladindu was activating his divine support skill. Friend G frowned, recalling the previous support he'd easily dispelled. Something felt different. Sensing his confusion, Duladindu explained, it's someone else's level. Friend G was utterly bewildered. What? The mutated variant, under the effects of the gluttony state, was purged and reverted to his original level. Level 76. My gluttony rank, it's all gone. He stumbled back, his physique and state returning to normal. He finally understood the reason. That potion, that cleansing potion, C-rank cleansing potion, removes magical effects on the target's body. Removes 2 beneficial spells on an enemy or 2 harmful spells on an ally. Gains an unknown enhancement effect for an unspecified reason. This was the first time Friend G had encountered such a thing, and it left him questioning his entire existence. Impossible. A C-rank potion negated my S-rank rare trait? How? Even Duladindu was bewildered. What kind of potion is this? Turning, he saw Hadia clutching a stack of the potions. He spoke with complete innocence. I didn't expect it to work like this. Do you need more? Both Jordan and Friend G were left speechless, frozen in astonishment. Jordan's thoughts began to churn. So that's how it is. I understand now. He had his methods prepared, but didn't act. Only because I wasn't fully against the werewolves. Only when I and the werewolves fought to the death would he intervene. He saw my life or death struggle as a werewolf as mere entertainment. This thought brought tears to his eyes. We were nothing more than playthings in his hands. Duladindu regained his composure. He questioned Fancy Gyoi. Do you have anything else to say? Fancy Gyoi, feeling unjustly treated, roared, why are you so angry? I'm the one in a desperate situation, aren't I? Annoyed by the werewolf's defiance, Duladindu's voice turned cold. Are these your last words? Fancy Gyoi was momentarily speechless. After a few seconds, he abruptly fled. I don't want to tangle with you anymore. After his departure, Hadia approached Duladindu, eyes shining. Zole Bingda, I knew you'd come to save us. You saved me again. How can I ever thank you? He continued with naive enthusiasm. I finally worked up the courage to go out and earn some quest rewards. I never expected this to happen. It's a good thing you came. But in Jordan's eyes, Hadia wasn't so innocent. Sure enough, as soon as the incident ended, he returned to his false persona, as if nothing had happened. He knew it, but there was nothing he could do, so he sighed. Jordan played along, his performance exaggerated to match Hadia's. Mr. Ha is right. Mr. Ha, rest assured, as long as I'm here, the mutated variants won't harm anyone. Hadia readily agreed. I feel the same way. Duladindu smiled and reminded him. Now that you've had your fun, shouldn't we head back to the city? Hadia asked innocently. So is everything resolved? Duladindu looked at him perplexed. What else do you think? Hadia, feigning naivety, replied. The mutated variant ran away, didn't it? Duladin explained seriously. Its special characteristic has been purged. It shouldn't be a threat anymore. But Hajia put on a sorrowful expression and sighed. But it's still a dangerous threat to low-level players, right? Even though it was originally only supposed to attack demons and not harm humans. Didn't you just refuse to join forces with it? Duladin didn't hesitate and immediately got into his vehicle. All right, I'm leaving now. Hajia's face immediately brightened as he clapped encouragingly. Someone called out, Duladin. He gave serious instructions. I'll leave everything here to you. I've eliminated all the troublesome beastmen nearby. Just take the children and other ordinary players back to the safe zone. They hesitated, then continued. What about the Demon King? Duladin added, take him back to the safe zone too, and make sure to comfort him. Don't let anything else happen. With that, he immediately departed. Hajia called after him, Duladin, good luck. The group was guided onto a large vehicle. Hajia intended to follow, but he was stopped. Mr. Ha, why don't you take this vehicle as well? Looking at the luxurious vehicle, Hajia was surprised. He happily complied. Well then, I wouldn't dare refuse such an offer. As he was about to leave, a woman spoke up. Hajia, sigh. Then, feigning concern, she apologized. She said she was sorry for sending him on a mission without being able to protect him. She even tried to sound friendly by calling him Hajia. She chatted with Hajia in a friendly manner. I can't believe you know Duladin. The guy next to him was quick to join the conversation too. She continued, oh right, here's your 2 gold coins back. We're all friends. No need for money between us. Let's team up again sometime if we get the chance. One of Jordan's subordinates quickly asked, are you all friends of Mr. Ha? He then made a suggestion. If not, you should get in the car too. The blue-haired man was also about to seize the opportunity. But before he could speak, Hajia threw cold water on his plans. Not really, Hajia said, directly exposing their relationship. I hired them to escort me on a mission. We're not exactly friends. Plus, they abandoned me when things got dangerous. It felt pretty awful. Jordan's subordinate, quick-witted, immediately replied, understood. He promptly tied them up. Then please, get in this car and head back. These words hit hard, leaving the others speechless. The scene shifted to a rather grand building. Outside, a sign read Quan Min Justice Department. The staff member there looked at the person before him with an incredulous expression. You just said you committed what crime? He asked, trying to confirm. Extortion, wasn't it? The staff member glanced at the form in his hand. Looking at the document, he saw their crime listed as assaulting the Demon King, also known as the civilian Hajia. The punishment, 3 years of re-education in prison. The staff member considered this for a moment, then continued. We can change it to extortion, if you like. Hearing this, the 3 men were left in stunned disbelief. The day's news broadcast began. Chungtian News has uncovered a cruel and illegal extortion case targeting low-level players and collecting protection fees. We urge all players to strengthen their combat abilities through official channels, coexist peacefully, and create a harmonious world. The announcer continued enthusiastically. Furthermore, we have news from the front lines. The missing children have been found. The suspect is a mutated wolf variant named Friend G, currently fleeing towards Damon Street. The hope of humanity, Jordan, is in pursuit. Friend G's obscured face was displayed on the television screen. The announcer, unfazed, continued. We were able to successfully rescue the children thanks to the enthusiastic assistance of Mr. Hajia. She then handed the microphone to Hajia. Mr. Hajia, what are your thoughts? Hajia responded modestly. It was all a coincidence. Just a coincidence. The announcer then brought up another event. Mr. Hajia, you also directly participated in the spirit auction at the Kajama E-Safe Zone last time, correct? As she spoke excitedly, a figure approached. There are rumors circulating among the players that you are a god-level expert. She tried to finish her interview. May I ask what your true identity is? But she was stopped by Jordan's subordinates. Even the camera was covered. That's enough. That's enough. No more questions. Elsewhere, Bellion and Babylon were also watching the television. Why don't you appear on the leaderboards? Is Chung Tian deliberately hiding your identity? Do you have some sort of shady deal with Jordan? Bellion, quietly munching on a snack and enjoying the drama, suddenly spoke up and asked Babylon, is Damon Street where that wolf is headed? Friend G is currently moving at 140 kilometers per hour. It tried to reassure itself, pressing onward. I can't collapse here. Even though I still don't understand how things ended up like this. It clearly didn't understand. Things clearly had a hacked quality to them. It could have come up with a perfect cooperation plan. Humanity wouldn't even give it the chance to be a dog. But Friend G still clung to an unwavering belief. It's okay. Survival and future development are all thanks to Leader letting me be his dog. It drew closer and closer to a tower, recognizing the scent. It was a stronghold built by demons after their arrival on Earth. The Demon King wasn't here. The stronghold was empty. Originally intended as a reserve food supply, now it could finally be put to use. The tower was cracked, its architecture bizarre. Inside, there were demon children. Friend G, press forward. I want to start over. I can only sacrifice you. It saw them. The children immediately fell silent. Become my sustenance. Crushing sounds erupted. A level 85 demon guard, a young woman, spoke up. Just a level 76 mutated variant, and you dare intrude upon demon territory? Friend G instantly threw her back, its tone fierce. Get out. The young woman, whose actual level was 36, was immediately obliterated by the blow. Obediently, she vanished. The children, witnessing this, were terrified. Mommy. Friend G opened its maw wide, intending to devour the children in one gulp. Time to feast. Suddenly, a beam of light halted Friend G's actions. The children stared blankly for a moment. The demon guard looked up. Not yet finished. As long as I live, I won't allow you to harm these children. Friend G, like a beast devoid of reason, lunged towards the demon guard. It slammed directly into her. A crashing sound echoed, followed by a cloud of dust. The demon guard was completely unconscious. Friend G trembled all over. It slowly turned its head. Why you strangers? Looking at this figure, everyone should know who this is. A plump face appeared. It was Belial and Babylon, who had arrived on the scene. Belial smirked faintly. Look here, you mutated wolf. Friend G, do you know who this is? It's Lord Belial and Lord Babylon. Seeing them was like seeing hell itself. Friend G stammered, great demon kings. But aren't you dead? My investigation couldn't have been wrong. Belial's face darkened. Wait a minute, you mutated wolf. I can smell you. Belial thought of Hadia. She spoke up. You smell of that boy. Her face darkened, as if she'd been cheated on. The mingled scent could only come from sleeping together. Babylon immediately denied it. Impossible. Ever since we met the demon king, we've always slept. A blush crept up Belial's face. Babylon instantly understood this expression. Could it be true? Babylon, having guessed correctly, coughed up blood from jealousy. The demon children whispered whispered amongst themselves. What? Lord Belial has met the Demon King before? What? Lord Belial slept with the Demon King? Did you hear? Belial has a child with the Demon King. Bao Bao was the most level-headed of the bunch. It spoke up calmly. Its voice slowly resonated. I can detect Master's scent on the werewolf. Could it be you met Master? Hearing this, friend G struggled to recall. Master, a being the great Demon Kings would call Master. Could it be it's starting to remember everything? That teenager, he's the Demon King. And now it's starting to piece things together, thinking like a Demon King again. That's why he prepared the antidote for my gluttony in advance. Then it thought about feigning capture again. Finally, it realized the complete and utter mistake it made sneaking into his lair. Thinking of this, friend G was terrified. Oh God, what did I say in front of him? He replayed everything he'd said, including but not limited to killing those demons, using demons as food, only using demons as food. It felt like he had discovered a whole new world. So, for the first time, he yelled, I represent the Demon King. I, representing the Demon King, will destroy you. He felt like a clown, completely ignorant. So it was all just me? Bao Bao's small figure appeared before friend G. Bao Bao spoke to him in a cold voice. You know the truth now. Can you finally rest in peace? Friend G thought weakly. Forgive me, I can't get up. I'm down for the count. I truly don't want to live anymore. Suddenly, Bao Bao approached, causing him to squeeze his eyes shut. Bao Bao, suspicious, carefully examined the wolf from head to toe. He found it incredibly puzzling. This mutated variant's power comes from Master. That power is converging on him. Why? Bao Bao also began to think more deeply. Could it be? He thought, Hajia must have a reason. There must be a purpose for Master keeping him around. Bao Bao finally made a decision. He turned around. I'll give you a chance. Bao Bao's words were like a lifeline to friend G. Take you to Master. Atone for your sins. Belial looked at Bao Bao and spoke respectfully. After watching the news and knowing its target, I've been uneasy. You've worked hard, Bao Bao. Come with us. Bao Bao glanced at them. If the Demon King punishes us for acting on our own, it's all your fault. Understood. They were about to leave. All right, let's go home. Suddenly, Bao Bao noticed something unusual. Behind a large rock, a figure was watching them. It was Jordan. He was completely terrified. Oh my God, I've accidentally stumbled upon the demon's headquarters. Duladin Du was drenched in a cold sweat of fear. I was once the hope of humanity, but now I'm constantly consumed by despair. Ordered to track down the idealistic kidnapper, Fonsi Gioi, I've inadvertently arrived at the demon's base. What he was referring to was the building before him. After being discovered, he was now alone, surrounded by 3 powerful demons. Belial spoke softly, but his words sent a chill down Jordan's spine. Apologies, but we can only silence you permanently. Duladin Du was lost in his own thoughts. My power is the greatest among humans. In a one-on-one fight, neither Belial nor Babylon are a match for me. But right now, I have no chance of winning. Bao Bao spoke indifferently, sealing Du Ludin Du's fate. See you in hell, little hope. Du Ludin Du, driven to desperation, gritted his teeth. There's only one way. Du Ludin Du activated the Lai family's final trump card. He yelled, the Demon King sent me. Bao Bao, about to strike, stopped instantly. His attack missed, landing harmlessly to the side. Bao Bao asked coldly, repeating the previous statement. What did you say? A sudden, chilling silence fell over the surroundings. Jordan, slipping into his role, feigned composure. It seems your underlings are nothing special. None of you truly understand the Demon King's plan. This statement truly enraged Belial and Babylon. You claim to understand Master's plan better than us? Such presumptuous nonsense. Babylon interrupted, cutting him short. Jordan hastily explained. At first, he gave me a mission, asking me to rescue the children kidnapped by the mutated variant, Frenji. He recounted the entire incident, including Hajia's words. Those poor, weak children should have stayed safely in the secure zone. I was so worried, wondering if he could bring them back. After I arrived, I discovered he was already waiting at the scene. Then the mutated variant ran here, and you all appeared. Babylon quickly refuted this upon hearing it. She couldn't imagine Hajia acting this way. Why bother with such a charade? If he wanted to kill the mutated variant, he could have done it directly. Why would the Demon King engage in such pointless games? But Belial spoke in a low voice. No, he's telling the truth. Babylon was utterly shocked. What? Belial turned to explain. He's a humanoid demon with the power of prophecy and the closest confidant to the Demon King. I've known about this plan for a long time. Babylon was even more surprised. Babylon, now also playing along, continued. If everyone already knows, I won't pretend anymore. This is indeed Master's plan. Babylon was now utterly bewildered. What the? She was only now realizing, with dawning horror, I'm the only one who didn't know. Belial offered further evidence to convince her. After all, I've slept with the Demon King. Du Ludin Du, seeing his opportunity, chimed in. Indeed, it is as he says. If we can confirm each other's stories, there can be no doubt. He spoke with a serious expression, justifying himself. The Demon King has long known that his subordinates would be in danger, but he seemed to just sit back and watch. In reality, every step has a hidden purpose behind it, concerning the mutated variant. Whether it's rescuing the human children or killing the mutated variant, neither is his true goal. He's merely using the rescue of the human children as a pretext. His next sentence left the 3 of them stunned. To bring the demon's subordinates back to the safe zone. Babylon, surprisingly, agreed with him. I suppose you're right. Some demon children, having overheard something, approached to see who Belial and the others were talking to. One of the children recognized him. It looks like a human. It's that bastard Duladindu. Hearing his name, Duladindu looked up. The children instantly erupted, seeing him as an enemy. Kill him, for the Demon King. Duladindu, quick-witted, immediately approached the demon children. He tried to speak to them gently. Come now, children. The children, confused, stared blankly. Jordan quickly made a promise. I'll take you to see the Demon King. Suddenly, somewhere in Hajia's house, a system notification sounded. Your application has not been approved. Your application has been rejected by the system. Hajia heard the doorbell. Who is it? But the system beside him continued its announcements. Your application has been rejected by the system. Hajia opened the door, and the sight before him left him speechless. What are you all doing here? He looked quite helpless, wanting to keep this creature. Glancing towards Jordan and the group of demon children, he asked in a bewildered tone, so, I need to raise these kids now? The demon children gazed at him with sparkling eyes. Please take us in. Hajia's expression was a mixture of emotions. Did you even ask me? Who decided this? Hajia exposed the absurdity of the situation. What are you all thinking? A smaller pet raising pets? Is that even logical? He continued, voicing his frustrations. Besides, Besides, this one eats a lot, doesn't it? Friend G, upon hearing this, was filled with panic. Rejected. Bao Bao looked at him with murderous intent. Rejection means only one path, death. Jia then began to lecture them. You can't even take care of yourselves, and you want to raise pets? Have you considered who's going to pay for their food? As he spoke, he suddenly froze. Wait a minute, speaking of food, mine. Looking towards Belial and Babylon, he suddenly realized they would cover the costs. He breathed a sigh of relief and said cheerfully, actually, I'm very lenient with you all. If you really want to keep it, just tie it up in the backyard. Bao Bao was extremely satisfied with this answer. See, this is what Master truly desires. He just pretended to refuse to scare us. Friend G, too, was overjoyed, practically weeping with relief. The Demon King has forgiven me. He looked at Hajia with puppy dog eyes. Demon King, from now on, I am your dog. Even confined to a corner, he was ecstatic. Demon King, Duladin brought up the children again. Mr. Hajia, what about these children? Could you take them in as well? Hajia, upon hearing this, was exasperated. Is that even a question? Why are you all taking this for granted? Duladin then began to ramble. He froze, as if realizing something. He pondered. He really did have such a plan. After I spoke, the way he looked at me changed. In Duladin's eyes, Hajia's gaze had become incredibly sharp. Duladin decided to play his trump card. He whispered in Hajia's ear, I've been following friend G all this time, and discovered that these children are the same victims killed by wolf claws. He winked. Their backgrounds and identities are untraceable. There won't be any problems. No citizens will be suspicious. Hajia was speechless. Untraceable origins aren't a problem. He thought for a moment, looking at the children. What's the big deal? Mr. Duladin, a government official, is asking me to contribute to society. He's helped me a lot already. It's a bit awkward to refuse. So, Hajia pulled out an item. It's really difficult to care for all of them if they live in my house. How about this? I have some basic equipment to keep everyone warm. In reality, these were slow-selling products. He added, trying to persuade him, then, I'll fund an orphanage. I bought a building that came with some land I've never used. Duladin stared blankly at him and asked, an orphanage? Hajia clutched his chest dramatically. This is costing me a fortune. Any more, and I'll be bankrupt. This is all I can do. The demon children clung to Duladin's clothes. They were about to call him Demon King, but stopped themselves. To Hajia, the children appeared quite adorable. So, your status is orphans? Like with no place to go? Yes, they replied. Hajia's heart softened. So pitiful. He thought over. Well, I suppose, maybe it could work. Hajia lifted his head, a small smile playing on his lips as he offered a suggestion. If Duladin, my dear fellow, truly needs my assistance, I have an idea. Duladin, bewildered, simply echoed, an idea? Hajia began to outline his plan. Why not establish a guild and gather everyone into it? A close-knit group offering mutual support and care. The group of children listened intently as he spoke. Having an organization meant they wouldn't be considered homeless anymore. He smiled, a thoughtful glint in his eyes. If he had to spend money, at least it should be mutually beneficial. He knew the requirements for establishing a guild were stringent. Not only were the fees exorbitant, but there were also stipulations regarding strategy and membership numbers. However, once established, while the procedural fees were the highest, they could be reduced by 15%. Considering his reputation, a further 5% reduction was possible, bringing the total discount to 20%. His mind raced, calculating. Furthermore, a guild could participate in more activities, generating more income. Weighing the pros and cons, it wouldn't be a loss. He handed Jordan an application form for the guild. This was truly a coincidence, if not entirely random. But Duladin was deep in thought, feigning refusal to establish a guild. If it was only to this extent, then it was fine. As Duladin approved the guild's establishment, something suddenly struck him. The guild's name. A notification appeared above his head. Congratulations to Hajia for successfully establishing the guild. Over. Everyone, upon hearing the name, over, reacted. The children interpreted over to mean the whole world, that people from all over the world could join, relying on each other. How heartwarming. Each person present had their own interpretation. Over meant transcending the world. It meant the creator wanted to forge an unprecedented world where all races could coexist peacefully. Belial, however, had a darker interpretation. A bunch of fools, she thought. It obviously means, in her mind, over signified the end. Water was the world. Duladin seemed to share a similar thought. He stammered, Jordan was utterly distraught, filled with regret. Destroy, what is this? At that moment, the Over Guild was officially established. Haonin, upon receiving the notification, immediately smiled. The Demon King has established a guild at Hajia's house. He sat on the sofa when the notifications arrived. Tan Haonin has applied to join your guild. AM Lu 69, Tune Gwyn has applied to join your guild. Hajia pondered these messages for a moment. On the other side, they simultaneously received a notification. You have joined the Over Guild. Haonin frowned at the message. The notification clearly stated. You have become the vice leader. Level 36 to 35. Received the title. Tan Haonin, the Demon King's Row Claw. Seeing this, he immediately glared at the others with hostility. Little Hao. He turned to see the group. They were utterly confused. What's going on? They sensed something strange about Haonin and the others. Why? Looking at Haonin's eyes, they realized they had suddenly become hostile factions. The scene shifted to a corner of a gate. This feeling is... It also received a notification. You have become the vice leader of dungeons levels 103 to 109. You have received the title member of the Demon King's lair. It had completely adapted to its current form. I was originally just an illusion. The Demon King suddenly granted me a physical body. On a certain map, a red dot appeared. The observer reported, a red has suddenly appeared on the map. Another surprised person asked, has the Demon King's mansion in the safe zone completely transformed into a dungeon? Machi seriously observed the current situation, recalculating the risks. The risk is too great to calculate. Machi's entire face darkened as he considered everything. The player's leveling progress hasn't improved much, but the Demon King's power is constantly expanding. He furrowed his brow in thought. Humanity has never faced such a formidable enemy. He clutched the cross in his hand. My lord. It seemed his plea reached somewhere. Bless us, a figure of indistinct form uttered, chuckling softly. Don't worry. In the worst case scenario, I will personally descend. Duladinda reappeared in the corner of Hadia's house, still standing in the same spot, reflecting reflecting on his own actions. He realized he had made a mistake. How could this happen? I've lost all face. How can I continue to be the hope of humanity? His whole body trembled, but he tried to compose himself. I can't give up. Du Lu Din thought. No matter how dark the path ahead, there is only hope. He gritted his teeth, accepting reality. Only hope never fades. Above, Babylon watched the scene below and scoffed. Serves him right. She raised an eyebrow, taunting him. No matter what he does, it's useless. Belial added. The Demon King has already prepared everything. The two of them stood there discussing life. Our victory is the inevitable future. But for us, as they spoke, they heard a call. Dinner's ready. Hearing the mention of food, their eyes lit up. Coming. Babylon sat before a small cookie. As for us, the three of them ate cookies and chatted merrily. Just being the master's little pets is enough happiness. Frenji was also enjoying the food. He looked up with fear in his eyes. His whole body trembled as he asked, Demon King, why are you here? Hatjia reminded him of the past. You are the mutated Tomb Lord who intended to cooperate with Jordan to devour all the demons in the world.
I'm not mistaken, am I? At this point, he suddenly smiled. That's all, folks. If you want to continue following this story, hit the subscribe button, and don't forget to give it a like.